All sports, all the time.
There's heroes and there's legends. Heroes get remembered. Legends never die.
This is the Spoken Podcast.
Hold your ears, folks. It's showtime.
I'm your host, Lance Twidwell.
Man, that kid, he can ball, man. He can ball.
Touchdown, Kansas City!
Patrick freaking Mahomes, baby!
Let's talk some sports, because that's what we're here to do.
You are tuned in to The Spoken.
This is the Spoken Podcast. I'm your host, Lance Twidwell, here inside the Starcade Media Studios with my guy, Trevor Twidwell.
What's good?
Episode 303, that is right, Tres o Tres, is in full swing, full motion. We're so happy to be here with you and for you to be here with us, whether you were live streaming, podcasting, or YouTubing. We want to thank you so much for taking the time to be with us in this time as we have, well, Trev, I don't know how else to put this, a potential three-peat to break down. And yes, that's got me all kinds of giddy. I feel that Trevor probably feels the same way. Don't want to speak for him. He will speak for himself in just a second.
Giddy up, boys.
But boys and girls, we have a very, very, very fun show for you guys today because we are going to extensively break down what we call this matchup of the century. Maybe the most important Super Bowl in the history of this game. And I am not meaning to be hyperbolic. This is what they are saying. When I say they, I mean they. I mean everyone. This is something that everyone's going to be paying attention to. There's going to be a lot of people, they're going to be hate watching this Super Bowl. Not us. We're going to be enjoying it. But there's going to be people that are going to watch this for other reasons. Regardless, the world will be watching this game. It is going to be, I believe, one to absolutely behold and one that we're going to look back on and remember very fondly. But I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves here, Trevor. Let's not jump ahead. Let's not Tarantino this bitch, all right? I don't want to give people the ending and then work our way to the beginning. That's not how we're going to do this. Even though I love Tarantino and I love the way he puts his movies together, that's not how we do things here. We keep you on your toes. We keep you on the edge of your seat. And while we're here, guys, we want to say, again, thank you for being here with us. If you're already here hanging out, you might as well go to YouTube. You might as well go to the Spoken Podcast and hit subscribe, hit notify, hit share, hit all those cool buttons they let you hit. It's like, when you do whack-a-mole, you got to do that on YouTube.
Hit it.
But if you would be so kind to do the most important part of it, when you go to our YouTube channel, while we're doing the show, get into the comment section. Hit the comment button and start giving us what you think, man. Let us know what you guys think of the show. Let us know what you guys think about this whole situation. We get a lot of great compliments. We've got some honest feedback, both positively and negatively. It's whatever. We want to hear from you guys more than anything. We want you to feel like you're a part of this because you literally are. That is why we created this show, to have a community-driven show, a community-driven sports platform for everyone to feel like their voice is heard, their voice is validated. That is what it is about here at the Spoken Podcast, and that's what it's going to continue to be. So you might as well join along, you might as well hang out and have some fun, man, because that's what we do every single week. Trevor, how the hell are you doing this week, man?
First of all, our guy Noah John Marshall in the chat said, Andy is Tarantino, Sirianni is Michael Bay. So
ooh!
That's an elite chat there.
Well, I'd high-five that motherfucker right now if I saw him.
That's a good one. We got a lot of people in the chat already, man. Shout out to Lonnie Pyramid, Dustin Norton, Clear the Air with E.
Yeah.
All the above, all the people, man. The usual suspects. Appreciate you guys being here already. I'm good, man. I got some sleep in this morning. Went and got shot some hoops this morning. Got a little fasted cardio in. Felt good. I'm feeling good right now. I'm heavily caffeinated. So I'm ready to go, bro. I'm ready to have some legendary discussions here, preparing for legendary actions.
Well, I woke up, went over my notes, and had myself some carbs. That was lovely. So Trevor and I had different mornings, but I think we have the same motivation when it comes to what we want to have in this show and have in this discourse today on our show, and what we're expected to see this weekend. And I hope that you guys are ready for it as well. And real quick, Trevor, before we get to anything else, I wanted to take a real quick sip out of this particular mug real fast. Oh, that's good. Yeah, that cup, man. That cup is very reliable. It reminds you of good times.
What's in the cup?
What's in the cup? Yeah, man, we are ready to go full force, Trevor. I don't know about you, man, but I'm ready to get this thing going. So without further ado, it is time for Lance Rants. since I know that you guys are waiting for us to get right into the meat of this show, which I promise you I will not be making you wait too long, I want to just take a few moments briefly just to kind of go over what I experienced this week. Obviously, Trevor and I didn't go to New Orleans. Our guys, Clint and Noah, F. Starcade, did end up going down there. And from everything we know, it was a good time. I know that there was some disappointment there. I won't get into details, but I wanted to give my reaction from a 10,000 feet view, if you will, of what I saw or what I experienced from other people's experiences at the Super Bowl rally of the Super Bowl week. It felt very tense, in my opinion, Trevor. It felt like people are not ready for what's to come. That was the sense I was getting watching a lot of national shows, listening to the local guys that were out there. It felt like from the Chiefs side of things, like people that cover the Chiefs or Chiefs fans, there's a lot of fun that has been had, but it's almost like a guarded fun where you're constantly feeling like you're having to defend your fun. And I really didn't like that, man. I'll be honest with you. I hated the fact that fans have to feel almost not guilty, that's the wrong word, but almost feeling like they have to justify what's happening.
We remember when the Chiefs sucked.
Yeah, like every turn of the corner,
you.
or whenever we were hearing several people that were out there in the French quarters talking about every other person that came to them when they saw their Chiefs gear was talking about the refs, talking about things are rigged. Like, I hated the fact that to me Super Bowl weekend or Super Bowl week is one of the best times of the year. No matter who's playing.
It's a fucking holiday.
It is, man. And especially in New Orleans, like a place that is just party-centric. Yeah. It's everything that about New Orleans sounds great. Trevor and I have never been there, but that is definitely a bucket list place that we're definitely going to be going to one day. And, man, I've always wanted to go there from the food, the culture, just the environment, just everything about it just sounds awesome. And I just felt like there was a piece that was missing at the Super Bowl. It was almost like people weren't ready to accept what they were seeing still. It was like they were out there to almost protest what's going on. And I don't want to speak out of my ass here because for all I know, there's a lot of people that are probably having an absolute blast. People are probably having a lot of fun. But at the same time, it did feel as if there was like this, it bled into reality a little bit, Trevor, because we see and we hear all the vitriol towards the Chiefs on social media. It felt like some of that was starting to bleed into reality over there at the Super Bowl, where we saw a lot of Eagles fans there as well, because they represent, dude. The Eagles fans are very passionate. Yeah. They follow their team everywhere. They are loyal. They're also assholes, but that's another side of the discussion. The point is, though, is it felt like there was an attack from not just Eagles fans and people that don't want to see the Chiefs win. It felt like the national media was also doing it as well. We heard Mad Dog Russo on 96.5 The Fan yesterday. I'll give them credit for it because he was on their show yesterday. And I listened to his entire segment. And this is a man, Trevor, that really paved the way for sports talk. Him and Mike Francesca.
Oh, yeah.
Their show is what... Yeah, it set it in motion.
Yeah.
And I have nothing but respect for what they did, for what you and I love to do, which is to talk sports and to have a show and things like that. We may not have one if it wasn't for those two guys. They're pioneers. But I think a lot of times people lose their way. And I think that Russo and Francesca for that matter, have both lost their way a little. I believe the Eagles are... There's reasons out there, and we're going to break them down in a minute, as to why the Eagles can win this game. But every point that he brought up had nothing to do with what the actual matchup is or what the Eagles can pull off. It was that he feels that it's because, quote unquote, it could be their turn, or he feels, and these are literal quotes from Mad Dog Russo. I wish I would record it.
Are they due? Is that
he literally said that? He goes, "This could be their turn. That they could be due for a Super Bowl, right?" He also made this mention, Trevor. He said that he truly believes that when they have the dinner with the refs, the officiating, and Roger Goodell and all them meet and have their dinner before the Super Bowl, he truly believes that Roger Goodell is going to tell the refs, I don't want to be hearing about the Chiefs got favorable calls on Monday. I want you guys to make sure that doesn't happen. And then he says that he thinks that that's actually going to turn things in the favor of the Eagles.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Trevor, it's absurd. That's absolutely absurdity. And the reason I bring it up is if this was just some J. Lewis 197573 on Twitter, we're not talking about this. We're talking about a man who's going to be in the Broadcast Hall of Fame one day, if not already. I don't even know if he might already be. A man who is, like I said, who has laid the foundation for what we have in sports talk. And this is a man that went on there and said that the Bradbury hold was not a real hold. He was up there saying that the Eagles could have very well won the game easily.
It was just a fistful of jersey. That's all it was.
Yeah,
not a hold.
And Bradbury admitted it himself.
Yeah,
but what do we know here, right, Trev? And then also said that they could have very well easily won the game, but now they're back with an even better team, as if Jason Kelce and Shane Steichen don't exist, because they're both gone now. And I'm going to talk about that later on as well.
I do want to point out a comment from our guy Brad Simcox. Shout out to Brad.
Brad, what's up? Brad Chief.
From the UK. Shout out UK. He says, all the shit talking from the NFL fans on social media, but not one of them is a Patriots fan. That speaks volumes. Chiefs have achieved greatness. That's a great point, too, because Patriots fans have been there. They've done it. They've heard some of the similar rhetoric that we're getting now. This is what all great teams, remember in the NBA, the Warriors, when they started ramping up, like, oh, they're getting all the calls now. Steph's getting all these ticky-tack calls. Yep. LeBron's greatness, MJ. It was just so happened the trend continues to be all the great teams get all the calls.
Right.
That was a great point.
Pretty coincidental. No, that's great. And that's great. And Brett, not to take away from your point, because that's absolutely valid when we're talking about the fan side of things. The problem I'm addressing directly is we have people that are paid to have sports discussion in front of millions of people. And they're the ones spreading this rhetoric. Yes, they're the ones spreading this rhetoric, this lie.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give this too much attention because we're here to celebrate. We're here to talk about the Chiefs being in their 5th Super Bowl in 5 years or 6 years. The chance to win 4 of 6, the chance to win 3 in a row. That's what we're going to be focusing on the most. But I'd be damned if I didn't address some of this bullshit that was put out there this week, man. When I'm hearing Shore Parks, Elliot Shore Parks, the writer or whatever from the Eagles reporter, out here saying that Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes are almost the identical same quarterback.
It's a wash.
Yeah. The only real difference I see is style points. Like, this is the absurdity from paid contributors that we're having to deal with now, dude. So that's why this week, although I was really enjoying the hell of it for the most part, I felt like I had to constantly cringe every other segment with whatever show I was listening to or watching because of just sheer absurdity. I know there are people out there that are characters, that are meant to be idiots on purpose.
Yeah.
That's why we don't talk about Craig Carton on the show. He is an absolute moron that is paid to be a moron. Yeah. He's an absolute criminal, literally a criminal that has been given a TV show to be a doofus on purpose. That's why we don't take him seriously. That's why we don't talk about Skip Bayless. Not only because the dude's unemployed now, but because of the fact that he's literally paid to be a moron. There are people out there that we don't address, but there are people out there like Russo who I do believe genuinely believes this shit. Yeah. Just like Adam Shine, who genuinely believes that the calls are that egregious to favor the Chiefs when they can't prove it by the statistics.
But Matt Dell will also be on record saying he believes Patrick Mahomes is the greatest quarterback of all time.
Exactly.
It's like, bro, pick
a lane, buddy.
You're just swerving lanes, bro.
Pick a lane.
You can't say he's getting leverage from the entire league and then also say he's the greatest quarterback. Because if you think he's the greatest quarterback, but he's also getting benefits, I mean, come on, bro. Like he's picking narratives he's just narrative riding both sides, and that's honestly, it's smart in order to keep views, and it's smart in order to keep kind of both sides intrigued on what you're talking about. But at the same time, man, a guy like an OG like that, it's a bad look. You got to remain as objective as possible.
Did you by chance ever see Kyle Brandt making one of those cringe videos again this week, or was that because the Bills are out? I think it's because the Bills. He's humbled himself with the Chiefs stuff though. Well, he didn't really have much of a choice.
Yeah, well,
when you're getting choked out, you have to tap. You know what I mean? That's kind of the way I look at it. So, but no, that's kind of what I just wanted to jump into this with address it, because I know it's on the minds and hearts of a lot of Chiefs fans out there, because you guys want to enjoy this potential three-peat as much as any of us. And it sucks that we have to continuously look left to right and see these people trying to discredit at every taken corner they can absolutely put it on. So I had to put it out there, Trevor. But you know what, dude? I want to jump right into it. I want to get right into this, and I want to do something a little bit different. And I don't want to put you on the spot here, but I know that you and I have been sitting here. We have not talked pretty much all week about this matchup, at all, really. And we like to keep it that way. What I want to do, Trevor, first of all, is I want to get just kind of a synopsis of from you and your point of view from the Eagles side of things about what you see, what they bring into this matchup, both positively and negatively, and then I want to go to the Chiefs side of thing as well. If you could just give me a brief synopsis of what you see as what are the Eagles to you, What do they bring to this matchup that is critical and detrimental to the Chiefs' chances? And what do you see as them that are ultimate weaknesses the Chiefs can ultimately expose?
Well, I mean, okay, to start with the Eagles, I mean, how have they been winning games? They've controlled the pace of the game. They've had the best running game in the league, obviously the best running back in the game right now, and obviously one of the best running quarterbacks also opportunistically, a guy that can score touchdowns at will, also with Jalen Hurts. They like to control the line of scrimmage, and their O-line might be, if not the best O-line in football, and they have a great defense, maybe the best, arguably the best defense statistically in football this year. So they control games, and they're dominant, and they front run. When just like they just did to Washington, they took advantage of them, and they forced several turnovers and made them pay for every single one of them, right? So they're kind of similar to the Bills. They're like the Bills, kind of on steroids, in my opinion. The way that they play, and I think they're more talented than the Bills. Obviously, their position players are just far superior to the Bills. The Bills were a good team this year, but yeah, the way they win games, man. I understand, and it's given them success. They're here. They're one of the final two teams. But in my opinion, the way that they win games and the way they've been winning games falls into the favor of how the Chiefs like to win games as well. Because if they want to keep the game tight, that favors us. I know they've won a lot of tight games and close games too, but when you have 15 out there, and it's a one-score game, and you got to have it kind of moment in the fourth quarter. We all know who comes out, who's 7 for 7 in those situations in the postseason. But back to the Eagles and how they continue to how I think they want to control this game. Obviously, they want to beat us, and they want to beat us comfortably. I think both sides would agree that's what they want to do. They don't want the game to be, tense and a heart attack type of game. But their defense is great, man. They have a great defensive line, and they're going to get after Patrick. They're going to really try to attack 𝚂𝙿𝙾, I feel, on that left side, and maybe overload him a little bit and deal with his lack of length on the left side. That's what the Texans tried to do. They were successful a little bit at it. And maybe we can argue which defensive line is better between the Texans and the Eagles. I think it's closer than people want to talk about. People want to act like this Eagles defensive line is something we've never seen. That's trash. That's a terrible take. That's a lazy take. Do your due diligence. This team has faced several great defensive lines and has had, games where we've struggled. I mean, we have good defensive lines in this division, right? With several extremely talented guys on defensive players on these defensive lines in our own division that we faced twice this year apiece. So, we are battle tested. We're ready to go in this game, and the Eagles are going to bring it. This is a competent foe. Like I said, they're here for a reason. But to the Chiefs side of things, like I said, their style of game kind of placates, and we've proven this. We've beaten this team before, and I think the time that we played them, their offense was superior to what we could talk about how great Saquon Barkley is, and how much of a godsend he's been, and how much of an MVP candidate he's been this year for them. But teams that try to run and be run dominant and win a game against the Chiefs, it never works. I expect them to bail on it. They're not going to stick to it because I've yet to see a team stick to it. The Niners couldn't stick to it with Christian McCaffrey. They started getting them going in the passing game. They try to throw their way out of the game. And the run-heavy Ravens last year did the same thing. Lamar tried to win it with his arm. For some reason, these teams, I don't know what Spags does to these offenses, what he's throwing at them schematic-wise, to force them out of those plays and those decisions to just keep pounding the rock. I don't think they're going to do it. I think they're going to find a way out of that and, maybe try to get Saquon more involved in the passing game, trying to find A.J. Brown downfield or Devonta Smith downfield. Devonta Smith tends to have good games against us. Dallas Goedert, who knows, could have a game as well. We tend to let tight ends eat underneath. But this game, in my personal opinion, the way these two teams match up falls into the favor of the Chiefs and the way we like to play games. And we've been here before. We've been we've been at the mountaintop, back-to-back seasons. And finally, I just to kind of put a bow on how I think this game's going to go or how these two teams kind of square off against each other. I just think this is the kind of defense Patrick Mahomes is just going to do his thing against. And I know we'll probably dive into the Vic Fangio matchup and his record against Vic and his defenses and how he tries to force Pat to be patient and, figure the game out and not try to make the big play. But over the last couple seasons, we've seen Pat reel that in and not try to make big plays downfield all the time. They tamed the wildness out of that horse a little bit with Patrick Mahomes. But I think this is a defense where Patrick Mahomes can pick apart. I really do. That secondary, it does not scare me. The defensive line scares the shit out of me. I'm not going to lie to you. A defensive line is frightening. But if Pat gets the ball out quick, and can deliver the balls on time, and we can execute proper plays and mix things up and confuse that defense and that secondary. And we have the dogs to do it, I believe. The Chiefs, this is a favorable matchup for the Chiefs in my personal opinion.
Well said. There's a lot that I want to react to, in particular with the conversation you bring up about the way the Chiefs were able to stop teams that want to run the ball dominantly. That's their style. That's the way they win.
Plays
that's
into
their
the defensive way we play things. Yeah.
And to answer your question just straight up, the biggest reason, one, that teams go away from the run against the Chiefs and why it always seems to happen in the postseason especially is because Spags presents and frustrates us during the game. In fact, it does frustrate me during the game, where you see, in the matchup against C.J. Stroud and the Texans, Joe Mixon's getting whatever the fuck he wants on the ground. This drive me nuts. Dude was getting over 6.5 yards a carry, right?
It was like one quarter he really started getting it.
But hear me out. What he was doing was he was presenting them that avenue to say, hey, go ahead. You do that. And see if you can beat us that way. When it comes to the Ravens, why do the Chiefs own the Ravens? Because Spags presents Lamar Jackson the avenue that we all know deep down Lamar wants. He wants to be respected as what? A thrower. Right? Because he's so great as running a football, he doesn't want to hear that anymore. He wants to hear, man, Lamar can throw with the best of them. So what does Spags do? I am going to let you throw the ball. You are not going to run it on us. Good luck. Because Spags knows, to the chagrin of the Ravens, the only way the Ravens can beat the Chiefs, realistically, is if they're running the ball with high succession. Yeah. So Lamar is going to play himself out of the game, and he falls for it every time.
That's my point about Spags. He baits these teams into getting out of their running game.
Yes, and I'm going to hold to this point, Trevor, about the 49ers last season and this Eagles team this season, and the biggest strength both these teams have, and why the 49ers actually have the greatest strength. And I'm going to explain that in a second. But that's just to answer that directly, and I think you already knew that. But these are the things that Spags does that makes him the genius he is, as to why these offenses always seem to change their game plan nonsensically in the middle of the game because Spags literally lures them into it because they think they can capitalize on it. And Spags always reels them in at the very end of it. So, look, everything you said, I almost completely agree with. That's why I wanted to kick it off to let you kind of burn the coals a little bit.
And I want to say one more thing about these matchups, about these Super Bowl matchups. It feels like every year, especially this year more than any Super Bowl yet we've had, even the Bucs Super Bowl that we lost. I never heard this narrative as much as I've heard it this year about how much better the Eagles team is than the Chiefs. If we're being real with ourselves, even us as Chiefs fans, how many times were we ever, like, on paper, the better team in the Super Bowl? Did we have the more talent? Did we have all these things? Like, most teams that we faced in the Super Bowl were better in, like, as far as, like, totality of roster on paper. Yeah. Most of those teams were better than us. Doesn't fucking matter.
You can actually say it. You can say that all 5 matchups to this point have the Chiefs weren't the better overall roster.
Yeah. How about the undefeated Patriots team? How good was that team? They were probably the better team in that matchup. Yeah. Let's say, and they lost. Right? Those two teams, those Patriots teams that lost to the Giants, they probably had the better roster overall. They did. They had by far the better quarterback.
Yep.
Why'd they lose twice? Better team doesn't. When it comes down to you must have it, gotta have it game, it's more of an internal issue we're talking about here, and experience and all those things that go above and beyond the physical aspect of things.
And I also think there was a certain.
I hate that narrative.
To answer your question about like the Patriots matchup too, I think there was a certain level of arrogance too, because we remember back, and Brady admitted it on Colin's show the other day.
Yeah.
About how arrogant he got, and I think what happened was because there's even snippets of when Tom Brady in the 2007, when they like broke all those records offensively and they were undefeated. Somebody brought up to him like, hey, do you think that the Giants, because the Giants are expected to keep you guys around like 24 to 25 points. And he goes, 24? Like he immediately looked at the report like he was an idiot. And they got held to 17. So like, or was it 14? It was 14 points, yeah.
Bulletin board material is a real thing for these guys, man. You give anybody an extra edge or extra chip or a little bit extra fuel, bro.
And that's the difference between this dynasty and that dynasty is that besides the cheating scandals and the fact that Belichick's overrated, but it's the fact that that era, that dynasty overlooked those opponents. The Chiefs have never overlooked an opponent in the postseason, ever.
Yeah.
Andy Reid
did not allow that.
Yeah, his golden rule is we take every opponent seriously.
Yeah.
And you see that reflected in every single one of his best players. Look, Trevor, we all know where this matchup begins and ends. It begins with the Eagles running back, Saquon Barkley.
100%.
The mass majority of those picking the Eagles to win the Super Bowl know that in order for them to win the Super Bowl, or to even have a chance of winning the Super Bowl, Saquon's got to be Saquon. There's no question about it. And to his credit, he's been more Saquon more times than not. But see, I'm going to explain why his great season has some serious context to it, and why a monster game from him won't be enough to stop the Chiefs from garnering their three-peat. See, I'm going to break this down real quick. See, Saquon Barkley rushed for 2,447 total yards this season with playoffs included. That is absolutely stupid.
Yep.
That's one of the greatest seasons ever. 1,529 of those yards came in 9 games against defenses that ranked 22nd, 22nd, 25th, 22nd, or 27th, 29th, 30th, 30th, 31st, and 32nd against the run. In the other 10 games, he averaged 92 yards. Now, you may say, Lance, dude, 92 yards per game is still incredible. Yes, it absolutely is. If you average 92 rushing yards per game, you're going to have an amazing all-pro season. And I would ultimately agree with you, of course. But see, in order to beat the Chiefs, I think we all would agree here that 92 yards ain't going to cut it. Saquon's going to have to do better than 92 yards. And with a top-tier rush defense like the Chiefs have, I'm not expecting Saquon to have one of those better games. These numbers that I've just showed you, Trevor, show you that against average bad defenses, Saquon feasted by averaging 170 rushing yards. That's a 78-yard difference from what he averaged versus top half rush defenses. That is literally cutting his numbers in half. He's literally put up half the numbers. So although 92 is good, 170 is historical. And there's a reason why there's such a drop-off from one to the other. And sure, you could say, well, maybe in those games, Jalen Hurts was throwing the ball with high succession. Maybe it was just one of those games where the Eagles were just finding it in the air, and they were just beating the shit out of that team in the air, and they didn't really need Saquon to go off in that game. It wasn't really a Saquon game. Well, let's look where Jalen Hurts ranked this season, Trevor, in quarterback stats, shall we?
Let's do it.
He was 21st in completions, 8th in completion percentage. That's not bad. 20th in passing yards, 21st in passing touchdowns. He was sacked the 11th most. That's 2 more sacks than Mahomes. We all talked about how terrible Patrick Mahomes' offensive line was, right? Hurts was the third highest difference, has the third highest difference in clean versus pressured passing performances. Struggling when the pass rush gets home, basically. The Chiefs own the 6th highest pressure rate of any defense in the league. In fact, this might be the worst matchup imaginable for the Eagles quarterback because Hurts might be the worst quarterback under pressure, and the Chiefs' defense has been elite to it. Let's go ahead and put this on the screen real quick. We could, Trevor. Warren Sharp on that pressure on Jalen Hurts. Would you look at it? Jalen Hurts' splits when pressured versus clean are insane. Out of 37 quarterbacks when pressured, he is number 37 of 37 quarterbacks in success rate, 37 of 37 quarterbacks in EPA per attempt, 33 of 37 quarterback in sack rate, and 32 of 37 quarterbacks in yards per attempt.
Is that bad?
That's horrible. That is about as bad as it could get. If I attach those numbers, Trevor, to a blind reveal, you'd have thought that was like Jameis Winston.
Mac Jones.
Yeah, somebody that's just a bottom tier, badass, and just a bad quarterback. No, that's a dude that a lot of people right now are picking to beat Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. The Eagles, Trevor, I don't know if you knew this, but the Eagles are the first team since the 1982 Dolphins to make the Super Bowl with a bottom 5 passing offense. And that 1982 team made it because there was a strike and the season was shortened. Not being able to trust that your quarterback can lift and elevate your team in the biggest moments is something teams simply cannot overcome in today's NFL. Folks assume that Hurts will repeat that Super Bowl 57 performance that he had against the Chiefs last time, 2 years ago. But I guess folks forget, and this is why I wanted to bring this back up. I guess folks forget or pretend not to remember that Eagles team had the best center in the NFL in Jason Kelce and one of the truly, truly special gifted play callers in Shane Steichen. He was the one running the offense, not Nick Sirianni. He was the one calling the plays, not Nick Sirianni. Not to mention the fact they were going against a very average Chiefs defense that was literally ranked 16th in scoring defense. That is right down the middle. They had a handful of rookies starting, including now veteran greats like Trent McDuffie, George Karlaftis, and Jalen Watson, who only know Super Bowls. These are different teams. This will be a different matchup. This is not going to be the same game that we saw 2 years ago because these are two different teams. But see, I don't want to continue, Trevor, to harp on what the Eagles aren't. I'd like to explain what the Chiefs are. Because although, yes, this matchup begins with the Eagles running back Saquon Barkley, it ends with the Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes. Let's go ahead and put up that number, Trevor, and Patrick Mahomes in domes. This is Patrick Mahomes' career, postseason.
Patrick McDomes.
Patrick in the domes, yeah, Patrick McDomes. 14-0. Almost 68 completion percentage, 326 yards per game, 7.5 yards per pass, 31-5 touchdown interception ratio with a 105 quarterback rating. How about we look at Patrick Mahomes in the last three postseason games, Trevor? Let's look at that. The last three postseasons, I should say. He's 9-0, completing 70% of his passes, 270 yards per game, 7.3 yards per attempt, 15 touchdowns to 1 interception with a 106 quarterback rating. And you have to remember, the majority of those games, he had Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney as primary targets. Three targets. How about we look at the last two Super Bowls, Trev? Almost 32 points per game, a completion percentage of over 75, 5-1 touchdown interception ratio with a 111 quarterback rating.
It's crazy, bro.
We talk about, Vic Fangio and turn over this defense, and he did. The Eagles have the number one scoring defense in the NFL. They're number one in yards as well. They are the number one defense in the NFL this year. How about we look at Patrick Mahomes' numbers against Vic Fangio in his career? And this is including last year when he was the consultant of the Eagles before getting the DC job.
Basically plus 14. That's nuts.
9-0 with almost plus 14 points per game difference, 250 total yards per game, 14-3 touchdown to turnover ratio with a 99 passer rating. This is against one of the best defensive minds in the NFL that has been around for almost 5 decades. And speaking of Patrick Mahomes against number one defenses, let's go ahead and show, Trevor, what Patrick Mahomes does against number one pass defenses in the playoffs. Oh, would you look at that? He's only the best at literally everything. What are we doing here, Trev? You look at just these simple numbers that now have a great body of work. We're not talking about 1 or 2 postseasons where Patrick played 3 or 4 games. We're talking about 20-plus postseason games. 5 Super Bowls. This man has put this sample size down on. And people are doubting this dude? You're picking the other team? Trevor, if we weren't Chiefs fans, I would hope that we would have enough integrity to keep this thing 100%. Keep it a buck, as the kids say. And go with logic.
Yeah.
Because it goes beyond these fucking numbers, bud. The Chiefs in games this year, because everybody talks about how the Eagles don't make mistakes, which is an absolute lie, by the way, because 2 of their 3 losses were due to drops in the end of the game. I can break them down for you. Sorry, Elliott Shore Parks, you lied. But in games this season, Trevor, where their opponent didn't turn the ball over, the Chiefs are 7-0. No team in the history of the NFL has ever done that. No team ever. And the Chiefs are 6-1 this season when trailing in the fourth quarter. In 9 playoff games where the Chiefs were behind in the fourth quarter, Patrick Mahomes has won 6 of them and 2 of the others in overtime after tying it. He is 3-0 and come from behind victories in the Super Bowl. And I don't know about y'all, but I wouldn't want to go against a guy that might be the goddamn devil. Trevor, put up the last thing up there real quick. This is this man's completion percentage for his career. That's at 666.
Hey, don't tell the weirdos out there.
This man might be the devil. And you want to fuck with the devil? No, I'm good, player.
You get the horns.
I'm good, player. Yeah, you play the bull, you eat the horns. This man is the bull. Trevor, I cannot, in any good sense of my mind, I know that
he's a Super Bowl.
We want to, make this all fun and games and kind of joust around it and then kind of like give our take at the very end. Dude, I'm kind of burying the lead here.
Yeah.
You can't pick against the Chiefs. The Chiefs have the greatest head coach of all time. The Chiefs have the best quarterback of all time. He's not the greatest yet. He finalizes his three-peat. I believe that surpasses anything that Tom Brady's done, in my opinion. Because that's something no one else has done. Nick Wright said it best. He said, this is the last thing and the only thing that Patrick Mahomes can say, I did something that Tom Brady never did. Because he can win 7 Super Bowls. Tom Brady did that. He can throw 60,000 passing yards. Tom Brady did that. He can throw over 500-600 touchdowns. Tom Brady did that. He can go to 10-plus Super Bowls. Tom Brady did that.
Yep.
He can win four MVPs. Tom Brady did that.
Create a category of his own, man.
He would be one of one.
Yep.
Everything is writing in the favor of the Chiefs. Saquon Barkley, Trevor, and this is the last thing I want to say about this before we get to our predictions, X factors, all that stuff.
Yeah.
People that are worried about the Chiefs in this rush defense against Saquon Barkley. Look, Saquon deserves the respect. He deserves the reverence. The man is absolutely balling. We got to give him that respect. Yeah. But like Trevor said, when was the last time you saw a team that was built around a run game beat the Chiefs in a high-stakes situation? It's literally never happened.
Yeah.
And,
and I got something to say to that, too.
Go ahead.
This is perfect timing because you're bringing up the Saquon narrative, which I want to crush right now because all week long, even our own people, even maybe us have hinted at the idea if Saquon goes off, that's bad news for the Chiefs. Let's just revisit the last 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Do you remember what Jalen Hurts did in that Super Bowl against us?
Killed the Chiefs.
He was 27 for 38, 71%, over 71% passing, 304 yards, 1 passing touchdown, 3 rushing touchdowns. We won. Juwan Jennings in the Super Bowl last year.
Killed us, dude.
Threw a touchdown, had a receiving touchdown. Christian McCaffrey had 160 yards from scrimmage and a score. We won. Saquon can go off. We will win. Don't care. We do not care over here. In Kansas City, we're better than you, and we know it.
This is the point I want to bring up as well, Trevor, because you brought up the great conversation about Christian McCaffrey and the Niners last year.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that Saquon is having a special season. At the same time, I think Christian McCaffrey was more of a threat to the Chiefs than what Saquon is now.
Of course. In the passing game, he was a 1,000 for 1,000 guy,
dude,
bro. Of course.
He was a white Marshall Falk. Like, for real.
Christian McCaffrey's a first ballot Hall of Famer, bro.
I mean, what he did last season was he should have won MVP probably.
Yeah.
And
even more so than Saquon this year.
So
Saquon ran his ass off.
So coming to that matchup, the Chiefs had there was more homework to do because Saquon's not a threat in the pass game.
Right.
So you look at Christian McCaffrey, there's so much more to his game. Saquon might be having a better season, but the layers that come with Christian McCaffrey's style.
And on top of the massive coaching difference too. Shanahan and Sirianni, like, what are we doing here? Like that's another edge a team has. If you have Shanahan as your coach.
And people kept coming up to me all week long and saying, dude, what are the Chiefs going to do against this rush attack if Saquon goes off? Like you broke those down. Yeah. Here's another breakdown, Trevor, just from this year. Okay, you would say that you and I both picked the Rams to make the Super Bowl, right? Stylistically, the Rams and Chiefs play very much alike. They do. They have quarterbacks that play very much the same style of football. They have good running games, good offensive lines, and really good front sevens, right? And and a young cornerback group, and a genius head coach, right? Genius offensive head coach. Very similar teams. In the divisional round, the Eagles rushed for almost 300 rushing yards. I think it was like 286 yards total, right? The Rams turned the ball over twice, both in the fourth fucking quarter.
Yeah.
And the Eagles had 0 turnovers all game. It was at home in Philly, in the snow for the first time. The Rams hadn't played in the snow all season.
Nasty.
Right?
Nasty.
Yeah, just burrowing down on them, right?
Yeah.
All that to say, Trevor, that the Rams were one throw away from winning that game. Matt Stafford on that fourth down play. They were driving down the field with ease. They were one throw away from still winning that game, despite giving almost 300 rushing yards, had both turnovers of the game, on the road in the snow, as a West Coast team. What I'm trying to say is this, to Trevor's point, echoing the sentiments. Even if things go the way of the Eagles, the Chiefs have shown us that they find a way. But with that said, I truly believe the Chiefs have the team that's not going to allow the Eagles to have their way, because to that point, the Chiefs' defense from 2 years ago is night and day different. Yeah. That was an average defense. Trent McDuffie was about 14 games into his NFL career because he missed like 7 games that season. He was only 13, 14 games into his career. George Karlaftis was a rookie pass rusher. Jalen Watson was fighting for playing time. These guys are leading the way with Chris Jones now. Yep. Nick Bolton was a pup. He's a second-year player. Now he's a veteran. Drew Tranquil's here. He wasn't there 2 years ago.
We didn't have the speed of Xavier Worthy on this offense.
No.
Man. And now we have Xavier Worthy and the speed of Hollywood Brown.
And you have DeAndre Hopkins, who literally is changing practices for the Chiefs. I don't know if you heard about that. But he's been telling they were doing certain drills. He changed the drills, and that's what's changed Xavier Worthy. Xavier Worthy has been absolutely crediting. This is why I wanted D-Hop 2 years ago. For Rashee Rice and mentorship and things of that nature.
This is why I don't want Travis Kelce going anywhere.
He's not. But
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, D-Hop being here, even if he's not put up, he said his favorite game of his career was the AFC Championship. He had 0 catches in the game.
Yeah.
Like, that's the kind of guy you have on your team now. Yeah. A humble leader that's teaching these guys the way. These guys weren't here 2 years ago. And Patrick Mahomes has 2 more Super Bowl experiences since that, or attached to that one.
Right.
So we're looking at a team, Trevor, that has learned so much more, that has so much more of an advantage on this Eagles team, that, again, if you look at the differential and quarterback and head coach, it's night and day different for the Chiefs and the Eagles, dude.
Yeah.
So that's just the basis of where we stand on things. Now, Trevor, I want to get to our X Factor players, because I think there are about 15 dudes in this game that we could go with. But I have a couple guys that I have in mind. I'm sure you have a couple in yours. Go ahead, Trevor. Bring me who you have as your X Factors.
All right. Defensively, and I know you did this. I think you did this. This was your guy last week, I believe. This is a game where he can really, even if he's not here next year, can really cement himself in Chiefs lore for not being able to participate in last year's Super Bowl. That's Charles Omenihu. I feel like this has got to be a game. We've seen Nick Bolton. We've seen Nick Bolton last time he played this team make a couple really big plays. Almost 2. One was a game changer. One almost another massive one. He almost had 2 defensive touchdowns. I want to see Omenihu have a game like that. Force a turnover, strip sack. We all know he loves a good strip sack.
Yep.
The dude knows how to do it. Jalen Hurts knows how to give those up, too. And you blitz Jalen Hurts, he's already worried about Chris Jones. He's already worried about playoff George. Those 2 guys they're going to show up. But what is Chucky, my boy Chucky, what is Charles Omenihu going to do to cement himself by being a massive part and contributor of this three-peat, this historic run, and forever be remembered by making a big, big defensive play to change the pace and change the trajectory of this. Something like that, a batted ball on a big 4th down, or not a 4th down because they'll probably just rush it. Maybe a 4th and long that they need to convert, and he bats the ball or something. He makes some kind of play here. This is a moment for Charles Omenihu to really cement himself. So I'm going Charles Omenihu on the defensive side. I think he's got a great chance here. I think he could be a guy that could be maybe possibly forgotten in the mix there. Offensively, this was a tough one for me, man. And I haven't gone with him all year, but I'm going DeAndre Hopkins. I've been going Hollywood Brown all through the postseason. I felt like this is his moment. I want to see him. Maybe this is his moment to kind of get his bag, find his bag. And he could have a good game. I felt like he played good against the Bills, but we kind of went away from him. He was eating them up early. I don't know why we really went away from him, but maybe they switched something up that changed the protections or the coverages. Either way, I really liked him last week, and I leaned into it, and it didn't really deliver as much as I thought it would. This is, again, moments cemented into this legacy, cemented into his own personal legacy, but being a part of something that's never happened before. This is the game that will 100% lock him into being a first ballot Hall of Famer, in my opinion. Maybe not first ballot, but Hall of Fame nonetheless. Because there's been that question between him and Mike Evans, guys like that have had great stats, good longevity, very consistent. Probably aren't on the all. They're close to on the all-decade team.
Yes,
those kind of guys.
Especially consider the quarterbacks DeAndre.
Mike Evans took care of that when he went and got his jewelry. He's a Hall of Famer. This is DeAndre Hopkins' chance to do that. And it took a great quarterback to do that for Mike Evans. And here we are with DeAndre Hopkins never having true greatness at quarterback alongside him to have a moment like this. And this is his moment. I don't need him to go get 80 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Right.
Can you go get me 65 and convert a couple big third downs or fourth down conversions and maybe get in the end zone?
Right.
I think that's going to happen. And I think DeAndre Hopkins knows, and I think he's going to seize the moment. He's one of the most poised receivers I think I've ever seen. The guy just has a stoic way about him, and I love it. And, most receivers are real mouthy, flailing their arms around all the time. He's never really been that guy. He's always been a really even-keeled guy. He'll talk his trash, but this is his moment, man. And these young guys are going to be around for a while. Even Hollywood Brown probably going to be back next year. I don't know if D-Hop's going to be back next year. But this is his chance to really seize and grab a hold of that moment in his career and solidify himself as one of the greats of his era. And I think he's going to do that as well. And I think both of these guys that I put out here for my defensive and offensive players, X Factors, are going to cement themselves into not only the culture and the lore of Chiefs Kingdom forever, but in NFL history. And yeah, I'm going DeAndre Hopkins here, man.
I would love nothing more. You know me, man. I've been his, biggest proponent, biggest fan, biggest, supporter to get to Kansas City because I knew what he would be. I knew what he'd mean to this team if he was to get here, whether it's statistically and or the mentorship or just being who he is. What I know him to be is a wise beyond his years type of guy. And I don't think, like I said, there's like 15 guys you can go with. I think Amenahu's a great pick as well because he can be a guy that just blows this game up.
And it's going to be Noah Gray. It's going to be one of these guys that's going to have a massive.
Just bear with me for a second because I might surprise you as well. I think this one's going to be a little more on the obvious side, but we know, like I said, we know what Spags does, and I'm seeing some of the comments about being concerned about the run defense and things of that nature. Like I tried to explain earlier, guys, in case you missed it.
Go, bro.
Spags is the guy that, like I said, likes to lure opponents. He likes to give you an avenue and thinking it's safe and it's the right way of going and beating the Chiefs, and then all of a sudden he just pulls the carpet out from under you because he stops what you're best at. You look at the Texans, their strength is obviously C.J. Stroud. He shut C.J. Stroud down. They had 12 points. You look at the Bills, obviously James Cook got his way. Josh Allen is supposedly the best player on their team, and Josh Allen didn't have a great game. That's because Spags made sure that Josh Allen didn't get out with his legs and extend drives by running the ball. That is what Spags is great at. And I think in this game, he knows the best way of beating the Eagles is getting to Jalen Hurts and creating pressure, which means what, Trevor? There are going to be blitz packages. There's a cornerback on this team that has 4.5 career sacks. 2.5 of those sacks came in Super Bowl 57 against this Eagles team. That was Trent McDuffie.
My guy, Trent.
I think Trent McDuffie is going to have another game like that where he either has 1 to 2 sacks, gets that pressure on Jalen Hurts, makes him think quicker than he's comfortable with, makes bad decisions,
that boy gets there quick.
Yeah. There's a fumble, pick, bad decision, point blank.
Yeah.
Trent McDuffie's going to speed that clock up. I think you're going to see him in the backfield a lot in this one. Yes, I'm sure they're going to have him on A.J. Brown. Yes, I'm sure that he'll get his chance with Goddard or guys like that at times.
That's fine.
But I do believe on third down, late in the game, you're going to see McDuffie going at Jalen Hurts.
Hell yeah.
And the C, B, A, doesn't matter which gap it is, you will see that man going at him untouched, unbothered, ready to lay some ass down.
Yeah.
My second one is I think this is going to get some people pumped up. It got me pumped up when I thought about it.
I almost went there. I already know where you're going.
Oh, well, we'll see. We know in Super Bowls, especially in this matchup, the last time, a big play that really, I wouldn't say changed the game, but kind of put a stamp on it, was a punt return.
Mm.
And it was from a guy named Kadarius Toney. Yeah, it was a guy named Kadarius Toney.
Yeah.
And look, the Chiefs already had the lead, but we got to give Kadarius Toney his credit for bringing that ball back 60 yards. Putting, I think the Chiefs are on like a 4 or 5 yard line. And they ended up getting the corn dog play on that. There's a guy that I have been for 2 years now pounding the table like I have with D-Hop to get his chance, to show what he's worth, to just give him a shot. And he's finally been getting that. And what has he done since he's gotten that opportunity, Trevor?
Boy's a dog.
He's been lighting the special teams room on fire. Dave Toub could not love this kid more than he already does.
Took the momentum right away in the Houston game.
And we remember back when McColl had this opportunity, we saw McColl when the Texans were up 24-0 in that 2019 divisional round. He brings the ball back 65 yards, and the Chiefs went on a 51-7 run right after that and never looked back. McColl ignited it. I think what's going to happen in this game, Trevor, is I think the Chiefs have their first drive, they get a field goal. They're up 3-0. And then the Eagles get the ball second time because I think the Chiefs are deferred if they don't get the ball the first time. The Eagles, for the second straight time, have to 3 and out. And Nico Remigio houses that bitch.
Oh, let's go, bro.
I am predicting
that
right
would
now
be the most wild shit of all time in a Super Bowl, dude.
Nico Remigio is going to return a kick, whether it's a punt return or a kick return. I'm leaning more punts, but I'm willing to be on the kick return side as well. I think that Nico Remigio is going to be the reason why the Chiefs get a 10-point lead in this game and never look back. It's going to be very similar, and I know it's different because they were down big time against Texas. What I'm saying is it's going to be one of those igniting moments where the Chiefs get that, and it just sets them ablaze for the rest of the game, and they never look back, they never trail, and they just keep that in motion because of what Nico did. And he's going to be remembered for the rest of his life as a Chiefs hero for doing what he did to help finalize the three-peat. I'm saying Nico Remigio takes one to the house, gives the Chiefs a comfortable-ish lead, and makes himself a true X factor in this one. You know how it is. Like you said, it's going to be like a Noah Gray. Yeah. It's going to be one of the others. It always is. Always is. It always is, man.
Last time we beat the Eagles, Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore scored.
And who scored the final touchdown against the Niners last year?
Yeah,
McColl Hardman.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? Like, it's always one. David Tyree with the helmet snag. You know, like, there's always like some. I don't want to call him nobody because that's disrespectful.
Do you think we see some formation of the corn dog though? I think Pat called a shot at the beginning of the season. Remember, he said when in the Super, or I think it was before the season, or recently on the podcast with Logan Paul, I believe, he was talking about, we're gonna implement some form of the corn dog in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I do think there's gonna be some sort of wrinkle that's gonna be like that.
Yeah,
where
we disguise it so well.
They're gonna see whether the Eagles are in cover. Or,
it could be like a handoff to the middle. He could play that formation and Kareem up the middle or something.
I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna have a play that exposes whether it's man or zone, and that's what they did in the corn dog. Is they realized, oh shit, it's not man. Because the guy didn't travel with him. So it's zone. He's going to be open. And
those underneath, like, quick little slants, too, have been working. I mean, Xavier Worthy scored on the Bills that way, too, the little underneath.
I definitely think there's Andy's had 2 weeks, Trevor, and we know that Andy Reid is 33-7 when he has an extra week of preparation in his career, postseason included. So that's not going to surprise me at all. I'm expecting the Chiefs to unload the bag in this one.
Also, to the people in the chat, everybody, all my people in here, let us know what your X factors are. I already got a few in the bag, and we'll discuss those here in a minute. But let us know who your X factor on defense and X factor on offense is. I kind of want to hear what you guys think. All
right, Trevor. So let me get a score prediction from you, man, and you can give me a reason why it leads to that.
See, this isn't going to be like the last time we played them. I do believe both these defenses are improved since last time, and I don't really care what defense we play. We'll figure out a way to score. But the way the Chiefs have been so consistently holding teams under 27, 30 points all year long, I don't think the Eagles are going to be some outlier. I don't think they're a special offense. And I think they're a team that wants to play in closer games and wants to run the ball and try to control the game. If they want to do that, cool. We can play that game. And I think this is going to be more of a defensive game, but I do think the Chiefs will score 27. I think we're going to find ways to put up points because I just trust us to. And I think we're going to play clean football as we've done throughout the postseason in Patrick Mahomes' career. And I think we find ways to score, whether it's a fucking punt return, kick return, touchdown to just spark it off. But I think we have I think there's going to be so many things we haven't seen all year that Andy Reid's going to bust out, just like the corn dog plays, things like that. I think there's going to be a play drawn up for D-Hop in the red zone. I do believe that's something we're going to see, which is why I'm picking him as my guy. I think there's going to be a way we find a way to score. Because I think Andy Reid loves special moments for special guys. And the whole situation about D-Hop leading up, even on the franchise videos, special stuff about him and his mom and being raised by her and his grandma and all that. That's something Andy Reid wants to reward.
Yeah.
Right? He loves stories. Andy Reid's a teacher. He's a builder of men.
Yep.
And Andy Reid wants to lean into that Kareem Hunt. He's gonna have a moment, I think, in this game too. These guys are gonna get their moments because Andy Reid loves these guys.
Yep.
So I think we score 27, and I think the Eagles score 19.
Okay.
27-19.
Okay, that's a good score.
I don't think they score 20.
That's a good score. That's a really good score. This is going to be a very similar. I agree with you in the regards. I don't think this is going to be a 73-point game combined.
Yeah.
But I don't think this is going to be a low-scoring game.
Okay.
Because what's going to happen in this game, Trevor, is that Patrick Mahomes is going to have to throw the ball 40 times. And why is that? Because of the fact that I don't think the Chiefs are going to have a lot of success running the ball against the Eagles. The one thing I will give the Eagles is their rush defense is elite.
Sure.
And I think it's going to be. I would be shocked if the Chiefs have over 75 rushing.
Pat's rushing, though. You're taking at least 25.
Sure. I'm talking about the running backs. I'm talking like Kareem, Isaiah Pacheco, Samaje Perine.
Sure.
I'd be shocked if they all three combined for more than 75, 80 yards. I don't think they're going to get off in the ground game. Patrick's going to throw the ball. Here's the best thing about this. This is the kind of matchup that you want him throwing. I mean, obviously you want Patrick throwing the ball in every matchup.
Sure.
But Vic Fangio plays such a heavy zone-style defense.
Zone apart, yeah.
And why did Vic Fangio not? He never had success against Patrick, but why did he kind of slow Patrick down back in the day? Because Patrick always wanted to throw the ball over the top. And he plays that defense that's bend, don't break. Keep everything in front of you. Well, that's literally what Patrick Mahomes has become.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen is Patrick's going to have about 32 completions in this game because he's going to be just checking. Travis for 7, Hollywood Brown for 8.
Yeah.
D-Hop for 5. He's just going to be boom, 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 efficient. It's going to be very similar with the box score to what he did against the Eagles last time, where I think he completed like 78% of his passes and had only 270 yards, but 3 touchdowns. A highly efficient game, right? They scored on every drive they had in the second half. This to me, Trevor, is a game where I think Patrick's going to be like that, though, from the beginning. Because he's not going to be dealing with a high ankle sprain. He's going to be the healthiest he's been in a Super Bowl his entire career. And he's got the best, most experienced offense he's ever had in his time in the Super Bowl. He is at his absolute peak right now. He's 29 years old, knows every defense there is to know. This will be the 10th time he's gone against Vic Fangio's defense. The Vic Fangio defense has 2 starting defensive backs that are rookies. Good rookies, I'll give them credit. Yep. Cooper DeJean and those guys are good. But you're asking those guys to go against Travis Kelce, who has 1 game in 14 days to play, well rested, well ready to go, knowing he's right on Jerry Rice's ass and 2 final statistics to get those records, and on the ass of a three-peat, knowing, like you said, DeAndre Hopkins getting a chance to solidify a Hall of Fame career, Kareem Hunt getting a chance to finally play in the Super Bowl, Amenahu, like you said, getting a chance to play in the Super Bowl. I
like
think,
those
Trevor,
narratives. I love those narratives, man. They mean something to these guys. Andy knows that.
I'm going to come out and say this. This is going to be Patrick's best Super Bowl.
Oof.
This is going to be his best Super Bowl.
This is probably the best defense he's faced.
I think Patrick is going to have over 300 passing yards. I think he has over 300 passing yards.
Yeah.
He completes over 75% of his passes, and he has at least 3 touchdowns. I am saying that Patrick Mahomes is going to win the MVP running away.
He doesn't want to just win this and create history. He wants those numbers to be reflected upon.
Because he's heard it all fucking season, dude.
Yeah.
What do you think it's any coincidence?
It's just coming off of 2 rushing touchdown games,
yes.
Which is hilarious.
Do you think it's any coincidence, Trevor?
Yeah.
That Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs have their highest scoring game in the AFC Championship?
Yeah. No, I called that shit. I knew that was going to happen.
There's no coincidence.
Yeah.
Because they let things out that we never saw. Greg Rousseau, the defensive end for the Bills, said, What the fuck was that? We saw none of those plays before. That is what we're going to see in this game.
We literally took a play from the Ravens, the team they've just played before, that option play that Pat ran, bro.
No offense to Vic Fangio. No offense to the Eagles defense. They do not know what they're about to see. When they asked Darius Slay on Radio Row this week,
and they can't stop it.
Well, they asked Darius Slay on Radio Row, what do you do to play against Patrick Mahomes? It took him 3.8 seconds to reply. He didn't know what the fuck to say because you don't know what to say.
Yeah.
And with the weapons healthy, every single player is healthy. With everybody knowing they are on the cusp of history. Some look at that as pressure. I look at it as motivation. I think this team is as ready as any team in the history of the NFL is when it comes to situational football.
Yeah.
And if this game comes down to situational football,
No, we quite literally are. We're the only team that's been here. In
17 straight one possession games they've won.
Literally, yeah.
6-1, Trevor, like I said, in this season when they're trailing in the fourth quarter. 7-0 when your opponent doesn't turn the ball over. This team has been showing us all season. See, everybody looked at it from a different lens. Scoring differential. Why aren't they beating the shit out of teams?
Yeah.
Why didn't we look at it? This is why I've been wearing this fucking thing for 2 months. Because I was relaxed, because I knew, Trevor, this team was going to be right where we're at right now, and they're going to take care of business. They're going to win games the way they have to, by any means necessary. But in this game, it's going to be sexy. Patrick Mahomes is going to be sexy in this game. We're going to have sexy points. It's going to be fun. Nico Remigio is housing a bitch, and then Patrick Mahomes is throwing three or more of them bitches. The Chiefs are scoring points. They're scoring 31 in this game, and I think they win by double digits. I don't think the Eagles can hang offensively, dude. And I think what's going to happen is, like I said, it's going to be 10-0. The Chiefs are going to force him to throw the ball with the pressure on Jalen Hurts. I don't think he's ready to handle it, dude, with the weapons they got. The only thing that worries me is if they get Goddard going early. If Goddard gets going early, because that's the one weakness the Chiefs defense has, is it gets good tight ends. If that happens, we have a different discussion. But I don't think that's going to happen either, because Drew Tranquil, Nick Bolton are going to be on their shit. Leo Chenal, who's the best tackling linebacker in the league this year, doesn't get nearly enough credit.
Tackling team in the league this year.
He missed 2 tackles all season.
We're the best tackling
yes.
team. Yeah.
They would say 8% of their tackles they've missed all season. Less than that. Best in the league.
Yeah.
This team is ready for this situation, bro. Everybody keeps talking about how talented the Eagles are. Yeah. The Niners were talented last year. The Niners were talented in 2019. The Eagles were talented in 2022.
Yep.
How did those games end, Trev? The Chiefs were hosted in Lombardi.
We won those.
Patrick Mahomes is winning Super Bowl MVP. The Chiefs are winning this game 31-20.
Fucking let's go, dude.
31-20.
I'm going to put a hundo on it.
Yeah, and I'm glad G-Pig saying Lance hype me up. Guys,
you should be high, baby. We're doubting ourselves.
I'm telling you guys with all honesty, there's not been one single moment since I knew who the Chiefs were facing that I have been nervous.
Yeah.
I am more calm about this game than any other game. Even our former co-host, Eddie Ortiz, was asking me this weekend.
Yeah.
He goes, are you more nervous about this game or the Bills game? I go, to be honest with you, I was the Bills game. He goes, why?
The history, for sure.
Well, that, and they have a quarterback I respect. Josh Allen is actually a man to fear.
They have an elite quarterback.
Yes.
That's an X factor.
No offense to Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
I don't fear Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
He's a good quarterback.
He is a good quarterback.
I don't fear Jared Goff.
I don't even fear
Saquon Barkley. The Brock Purdy's.
I don't even fear Saquon Barkley, bro. We've already beat Saquon Barkley plus that with Christian McCaffrey. Right?
Right.
You know, I gave you the numbers, guys, for all these great performances that have gone against us in the Super Bowl. We've had every time we've played in the Super Bowl, we've had great performances against us.
Yes.
Whether it's the Buck defense just absolutely deep-pantsing our decimated O-line in the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts going off, Jimmy G having a solid game, and their offense having a good game against us, having a double-digit lead for the majority of that game, we still won.
Right.
Chris McCaffrey goes off, we still won. Juwan Jennings having a passing and receiving. Just last year, and then obviously that was last year, and then Jalen Hurts having his games. It doesn't matter, bro.
Yep.
We're gonna outplay you. It just is what it is. And yeah, I'm very confident in this game too. I was the Bills game definitely gave me more pause than this one does. I feel very confident, and I think the biggest reason is, and I'm with you, for this confidence is the fact that the quarterback difference, the coaching difference, the quarterback and coach is the one that sways me the most to my confidence level here.
Patrick sways you?
Yeah, I mean, yes. Sure. This is gonna be a roadhouse scene here, man.
Roadhouse.
A bunch of roundhouse kicks to these bad boys. So
those are our X factors. Those are our predictions. We'd love to hear from you guys as far as what you see happening in this game. I've already seen the chat blowing up on their levels of things.
Yep.
But you know what? I know there's got to be some questions out there as well, Trevor, because I know that people are wanting to know what we're thinking on things, and we want to hear what you guys think as well. So, Trevor, it is time for Speak It. What are the people asking us?
Absolutely. So I have 18 plus comments in here right now in this segment ready to go. So if you guys got more questions along the way, feel free to throw them in there. I'll try to get to them. But off the top, we got Noah John Marshall. What are you guys in KC eating on tomorrow or for tomorrow night? Listen, I love these questions. I'm already hungry right now. I'm still fasted, so I'm ready to eat right now.
Well,
but,
our lovely sister-in-law, Brittany, always hooks us up on football Sundays.
Potluck.
I don't. What did she say we were doing? I forgot. All I know is going to be delicious, no matter what it
There's
is.
going to be food, man.
Yeah, I think we got. I think we got to bring some stuff this time, bro. So no more freeloading this time, bro. We got to actually bring some. Stuff.
my son loves pizza, so I'm probably going to go get some kind of pizza.
Papa John's pepperoni. Let's be specific.
Of course, double sauce.
Jack is
extra sauce.
Yes, extra sauce.
Yeah, I don't know what exactly. I forget what we're eating over there too, but it's going to be a potluck. It's kind of a bring your own thing, but they're going to make it. I think she's making buffalo dip again, so that's always clutch. That's an MVP. That's a Patrick Mahomes-esque Super Bowl food.
Yes.
I'm
breathing heavy just thinking about
chicken
it.
Buffalo dip, and she makes it top notch. But yeah, man, that's probably what we're probably going to be eating a little bit of a smorgasbord, a Super Bowl smorgasbord, if you will.
I'm trying to find where she said it because I know she gave like a list. She's like the most put together person ever.
Last we had those chicken or those cheeseburger sliders that she made last time. Those were ridiculously good. And then that
making
jalapeno popper dip.
Oh my God, she's making wings, buffalo chicken dip, and fries.
See,
God, dude, I'm
very American.
I love you, Brittany.
Yeah, so we'll be eating grub, man. Let us know what you guys are gonna be eating though. I mean, anything with the buffalo chicken dip, man. That's that stuff. Any like burger sliders, those were fire too.
Julia said ribs, brisket, tacos, and wings. God damn. Send the Addy, Julia.
All the meats.
Send the Addy.
You should get me horned up over here.
God damn.
Let's see. Clear the air with Eve with our next question. Speak it. Who scores the first TD for the Chiefs? I have asked both playoff games and now for the Super Bowl. We came close. I think you picked Travis Kelce. Was it last game? I can't remember who we.
Yep. I said Kareem Hunt.
Oh yeah,
Kareem Hunt. Yep.
Oh yeah. I know he was a lock. He was my lock to score, but for a first touchdown score, I think I picked Travis. I picked Travis.
That's a Kareem.
Last game. Yeah.
This week it's going to be. I'm saying Nico Remigio. I think the Chiefs. I think on the opening drive they get a field goal.
Yeah.
And then force a 3-and-out on the Eagles, and then they punt, and I think Nico takes it to the house.
So I'm going to go D-Hop here.
I like it.
I think we're going to have a great opening drive, per usual. And I think we're going to have a really good scripted drive, and I think we're going to get within the 10-yard line. We're getting the red zone area, and I think we've seen a lot of it because we haven't seen much from D-Hop, but he's been getting nothing but one-on-one coverages because lack of respect there, and we haven't really gone his way a lot. And I think they did kind of like brewing some things up to see what they got.
I'm all for it, dude.
You get D-Hop with the one-on-one coverage, especially that secondary, which they have some guys.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're going to have like their number one corner on him. I think they're going to really be focusing their guys on the Xavier Worthies and Hollywood Brown, the faster guys.
Get him a
D-Hop's
tutty.
always got that moment that he knows how to shift his momentum and use that old man body of his at this point. He knows how to get that step on somebody. You give him a one-on-one in the red zone, I think he can run towards the end of the back corner of that end zone. You get a 50-50 ball for him, he'll go up and get it. I think that's something we see in this game. I think there's going to be a one-on-one a lot for him in this game. And his over-under for receiving yards, by the way, is 11.5.
Oh.
That's one catch. So I've already put money on it.
Oh.
So trust me, I already put money on that. And Kareem's rushing attempts, which is 11 or 12.5, I think, or 11.5 as well. So I like Kareem to hit his over on rushing attempts and that. By the way, I'm just gonna throw that out there. But yeah, I like D-Hop to be the first touchdown scorer in this game, man.
Julie Gilly, she goes, I'm not giving my address to the guys on the internet again.
Oh,
You're no fun, Julia.
you can DM me, it's fine. Especially with all those meats.
No joke, man. I got the meat sweats.
Delicious. Our guy Brad Simcox, I wanted to get this out there as well. To your point earlier about who the rushing defenses and stuff that you laid out that the Eagles have played. He says, who have the Eagles played this season? Cowboys, Commanders, Giants, Saints, Browns, Panthers, Jags, a Bengals team that has been awful. It's a great point, man. Like I said, they're a front-running team similar to the Bills. The Bills have done that for years. They'll play awful teams. They'll play the Jags. They'll play their division and just run amok and just run up on them and drop 50 points on these guys. And it's none of that matters.
No.
You know what I mean? The how much did it matter with all the several 50-plus scoring point games that the Detroit Lions had this year? Do you think they care about that now?
Right.
Matters none. So yeah, it's a great point from our guy Brad Simcox. Shout out to the UK, baby.
Ew.
Always appreciate you chiming in, man. Noah John Marshall again. Speak it. If Caliendo is a total disaster from the start, any chance KC subs him out?
I would say there's no question.
Yeah.
If he's struggling, if they're if the Eagles were to say, hey, Jalen, move over a smidge and just go after Caliendo, and he starts bullying him, they're going to have to go with Joe Thuney at left guard. I'm not saying I'm rooting for that, but you guys know where I stand on it. I would love to see Joe Thuney back at left guard because I would love to see the Chiefs solidify the protection on the inside because that's where the Eagles get the majority of their pass rushes through the inside with Jalen Carter being an absolute animal. Now, I will say, and I don't know if you guys have been hearing about this, but a lot of the Eagle players are dealing with the flu right now. Supposedly they had a breakout at their facility.
Some call it nerves, some call it flu.
Yeah, supposedly a lot of them are real sick. So it'll be interesting to see how much strength and energy some of these players have in this matchup. But yeah, I don't think Andy Reid's going to hesitate to move on in a game like this if they know that Caliendo just doesn't have it in him to play against an elite, nasty motherfucker like Jalen Carter.
Our guy Lonnie Pyramid chimes in and says, D-Hop heavily involved, fellas? Look, I'm calling it. I'm not saying he's going to have some massive game, but I think he scores and I think he gets at least 2-3 catches. I think this is D-Hop's moment.
Yeah.
And I think if D-Hop has a big, I think this is a situation where he could retire after the end of this. Why not? Walk away. Not saying he has to, but this is a situation where he could.
Yeah.
You know, because he probably won't be with us next year, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah. G-Pick says bird flu. Dude, that's perfect, bro. That's hilarious. I mean, it's a sad thing. Bird flu is a real thing.
Well done. Yeah, well done, though.
John Harrison says, sorry, I'll get to the rest of the comments in a minute, but these are kind of like on point. How about Kareem and D-Hop get 2 TDs apiece? You put money on that, John. You're buying me a steak.
Well,
just because I want one.
You guys know I'm the biggest Kareem guy there is. Matchup wise, it's gonna be really difficult for me to convince myself that Kareem Hunt's gonna have a big game. The Eagles are really good at stifling run games. I think this is gonna be a pass game. Now, if Kareem if they want to game plan Kareem in the pass game, now we're talking because we know this dude can catch the ball and run with it. I'd like to see that. I can see touchdowns like that where they do a little dump off screen to Kareem on the flat and let him run it in for a touchdown. That could happen. But I just don't think that you're going to see Kareem Hunt getting multiple touchdowns on the ground game. I got to give the Eagles at least some respect here on the defensive side.
I trust our offense to disguise things and figure things out. And Kareem's always getting yards nonetheless. So if he gets 11, 12 carries, I can see him getting 50-plus yards.
Our boy Kyle Hennings in the chat. He says, spoken Super Bowl preview. What's up, boys? What up, brother? He goes, Kareem will be possessed. I will be very surprised if he doesn't get one. Oh, so Kyle thinks that Kareem can have himself a game.
I don't think that's crazy, man. I don't think
it's crazy either. But what I'm saying is, if we're to look, the Eagles are also going to try to take something away from the Chiefs as well.
Sure.
You can't take Patrick Mahomes away, so what they're going to do is they're going to try and make their offense as one-dimensional as possible.
I'm not saying that Kareem needs to go have 85 to 90 rushing yards or something like that, but I think this is a situation where he can score several times. I do. I think we don't fuck around. I mean, we've done it through the postseason. When we were just against the Bills, we got down there and things are tight in the red zone. Give it to Kareem.
Yeah,
several times in the same possession.
Yeah, he's always, and I always call him the net.
I think
positive.
he's the best lock to score in this game outside of Saquon Barkley.
I'll fuck with it.
I think he is.
Yeah.
So if I was betting, I think if I was really gonna put some money on a score,
yeah,
I think he's done it the last 2 games in the postseason. He's scored every game so far.
No.
I mean, outside of Saquon, who I think is probably a lock to score at some point in this game. He's just too good. Him or Jalen Hurts, both those guys are going to get at least one.
I will say this. As long as it is Kareem Hunt that's getting the majority of the touches in this game, I'll be happy because
I don't see why he wouldn't be.
Pacheco just has not looked right,
no.
and Kareem has just been such a net positive at every time he's touched the ball.
And I do think the passing game stuff will go to Samaje because I think they trust Samaje. They trust Samaje to close out the Bills, bro.
Yeah,
they trust that
snake
man.
Route, yeah.
Yeah, they trust that man. He's great at that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Nicholas on X. I can see Hopkins having a huge game. Honestly, not big but huge. That's how huge. How huge? That's how it was with Tennessee. He was kind of just there and had 40-yard games, but when he had a good game, it was always like 100 yards or 1 or 2 touchdowns. I can truly see that happening now. Listen, I love it because that's my guy in the game, and I would love to see that. And just story-wise would be incredible. But yeah, let's get back to the people here. Noah John Marshall, once again, speak it. What will be the epic play call of this game? I am saying Mahomes catches a TD. Bro, if that happens in the game to complete a 3-peat and Pat has a receiving touchdown,
how about this?
That would be a
how about this?
Among flexes,
it's something we've already seen before, but we love it every time it happens. I think there's like a hook and ladder. I think like Travis Kelce, it might be like a D-Hop or Xavier Worthy kind of play where Patrick throws it to Travis in the flat. They're running around him, and he just dumps it off, does a little toss to him, and they run around him. I'm going to go with hook and ladder.
Like the Shady McCoy one.
Yes.
Remember that? That shit was epic.
But I think this happens in the red zone. I think they do something like this
Or
in
a
the red
similar
zone.
play that didn't work against the Bills because of one foot. Somebody was offensively offsides. And could a play like that where
dude.
Travis catches it and throws it back to somebody?
Yeah.
That play was amazing.
There you go. Exactly.
That's an
Maybe it
all-time
doesn't have
play.
to be the red zone, but it'd be like, the zone gets exposed. Travis is just running down the field open, and one of their speedsters comes running
Xavier
right around.
Rhodes trailing up the sideline.
He's like, yeah, exactly, dude.
That'd be wild, man.
So I'm going to say that.
I'd rather see Patrick catch a touchdown.
That would be
That would be
awesome.
fucking incredible,
That would be
bro.
fucking awesome.
Yeah, the Philly special against Philly. Bro,
That would be fucking awesome.
Julia Gill, yeah, Philly special.
True
Bro.
for days, dude.
That is some Andy Reid shit, though.
Doug Peterson's in the background. Like,
That is some Andy Reid shit, bro. That would be crazy. I would not put it past these boys to do something like that. G-Pick, fellas, what is the key to winning this game? Personally, I feel like it's winning the battle in the trenches. Of course, I feel like that's every game. But yes, and that's a tall task, man. This is a team that's good on both sides of the ball.
well, there's no question about it. Like, the Chiefs are going to have to get after Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Because if he's comfortable, he could have a good game. And that means that Saquon Barkley's going to have as much opportunity to excel as well, because if they're having a balanced attack, then the Chiefs' defense is going to be constantly on their heels. So, yes, the trenches, they're going to have to be one. And see, what I don't understand is the majority of the analysis of this game has been all this praise being heaped on the Eagles' offensive line and defensive line. And I'm sitting here going, have you guys not watched the Chiefs' defensive line and offensive line over the last 3-4 weeks?
Yeah.
They've been unbelievable. Like, what are we doing? Why aren't they getting? I think the Chiefs have a better defensive line.
Oof.
I do. Dude, Chris Jones in the prime of his life, he's the number one player.
Production-wise, it's close.
George Karlaftis has been an animal.
Yeah.
You just said Charlie Minnow was going to be the X Factor.
Yeah.
Mike Dana is a slept-on player.
And Mike Pennell is
Derek
maybe
Nottie,
the
Mike
most slept
Pennell,
on.
like these. Yeah. Like, I'm not sitting here saying they have a perfect defensive
Our
line,
guy
but
Kyle Henning, I can't wait for Carter versus Trey. Going to be a war. Absolutely.
oh, you mean the backup, according to Bart Scott?
What?
Yes, yes. So there's a video I have on my Twitter. Go look at it real quick, guys. Bart Scott says on ESPN's Get Up that it's going to be difficult for backup Trey Smith to face Jalen Carter.
He's probably a fifth grade reading level too.
Not even making that up.
I mean,
go watch it yourself. I almost put it on the show.
that's a terrible take.
Yeah, yeah.
They should have put him on
really
mute.
fucking bad.
Mute that mic.
Yeah.
But yeah, that will be a war. Trey Smith. I expect maybe the best in his position to take care of that man. Maybe
But
not
it's
entirely, but Trey Smith is working to get a paycheck this next season, and I think this is going to be a great opportunity for him to showcase his talents in the biggest stage. Let's see. But as far as like back to G-Pick's point about what is the key to winning this game, and is winning in the trenches. I mean, my personal key to winning this game is just Pat being Pat and Andy Reid being Andy Reid. Plain and simple. And that may be a cop-out answer. I don't really care, because I trust them to find the guys in the right moments and to deliver the plays and execute the plays. Obviously, Spags is lumped into this as well. I just expect the leaders to be the leaders and do what they do and do what they've done the last 2 years.
Right.
And winning these Super Bowls and winning these types of games. That's it, man. We can have a battle in the trenches. I think both these teams will be a pretty close to a wash. Although I think our guys will make those one or two more plays that matter the most. But I just trust the leadership of this team to go steer the ship in the right direction.
Yeah. That's the ultimate X factor of everything. If you give Patrick time in the pocket, Andy's gonna be able to create, and Patrick's gonna be able to create, and that's when they're gonna be at their best. Our guy Kyle Henning says, I quoted that tweet, Lance. Bart can't wait to say incorrect shit into the mic. 100%, bro.
Can't wait.
It was bad. It was. I mean, you even saw like
He was a good player.
Andre Hawkins and those guys looking at him like, what the fuck are you talking about? Dude?
Yeah,
And
mute
Damian
his
Woody.
mic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Day drinking. Don't do it, people. Let's see. Nicholas on X. People are happy Josh Allen won the MVP because he's a nice guy. I guess Alex Smith should have won MVP too. I'm kind of kidding, but also not at this point.
Yeah, I guess Russell Wilson should have won a couple, and you know, Matt Castle, they should have won a couple because they're real sweet guys, and they were due.
Trent Green was a real nice guy.
They were due, man. They should have won MVP.
Shout out Trent Green, man. That's my guy. I love that guy. Shaggy Shane. How about this? Is a shout out to our guys. How about the amazing work covering the Super Bowl this week from Noah and Clint? Super Bowl proud.
Absolutely.
Hashtag Starcade. Shout out to them boys, man.
Yeah,
They were giving us some good content. As much as
yeah.
they even had their own
Bro,
booth.
I fucking loved the video they got of Chris Sims.
Dude, shout out to my boy Chris Sims. I
Man,
love Chris Sims, dude.
Bro, Chris
I love
Sims, they got Chris Sims to drop F-bomb.
I love it,
How
dude.
awesome is that?
Chris Sims is a real one.
Bruh.
I mean, he has some takes I don't like sometimes, but
That was hilarious.
he's a locker room shit.
Yeah.
He's been around this for a long time.
You can tell it offends him.
Yes.
That like
He
the
loves
ref
this game.
bullshits.
That's disrespectful as fuck.
Yeah, the league he loves and grew up around. Like his father played many years in this league. He played in this
what
league.
a great
like,
moment for Noah and Clint to get that, man.
Yeah, man.
That was beautiful.
Yep.
So yeah, shout out to those. Thanks, Shaggy, for pointing that out, man. We got nothing but love for those
Hopefully
guys.
they'll wear DX shirts next time they see Jerry Rice.
I mean, yeah. Bro. Yeah, never mind. But
I'm your Huckleberry, by the way, Jerry.
next year's Super Bowl when the Chiefs are there again, man. Let's get on Noah and Clint.
Come fight me, Jerry.
Get us credentialed, bro. Let's take a trip.
I'll bite your kneecap.
Be fun. John Harrison. My X factor is Remigio against a questionable Eagles special teams. That the last Super Bowl MVP was Desmond Howard wearing number 81 in New Orleans. What's Remigio's number? 81. I like a little
Booyah.
correlation there. History repeating itself kind of stuff. So yeah, you and John Harrison are in
Johnny!
unison.
You know you shit.
Let's see. We got some live comments coming in. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anybody here. Let's see. Some people asking for the link for that video. You have to find it. Just go to Starcade Media on Instagram probably. It should be
Twitter.
or
Yeah,
Twitter. Yeah, it should be on there.
It's
Facebook,
hilarious.
or, yeah, whatever. It is great. It is worth your time. It's about a minute long or so. Not even that probably. Clear the air with E. X factor for defense for Chiefs. Jalen Watson. Offense. Travis Kelce. Also, Nico Remigio is going to have a massive return. Man, people are rolling with you on this, bro. I mean, he's already shown it. He's already shown it in his first playoff game ever against the Texans. Against actually a very good special teams. It's a very good special teams unit over there. The Eagles, not so much, right? They're a little suspect. They've allowed some big returns this year. I love that clear the air with E, our guy E.
Like Joe,
Jalen Watson's a nice little sneaky play though. He could have a pick.
I try to stay humble, man, but when I'm right, I'm right, dude.
Shout out Kendrick. Yeah.
You know, when I'm right, I'm right.
G-Pick, X factor on defense is Chris Jones. I mean,
yeah, you can say that every week, man. I don't want to downplay your prediction. I love the prediction.
Yeah, that's definitely a dude.
I think Chris Jones is the type of guy that can steal an MVP from Patrick Mahomes.
He is that caliber.
I don't know if you watched him, Trevor, but both times we've had not Trey Wingo on, but Merrill
Trey
Hodge.
Wingo would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be great. We got to get him on. But Merrill Hodge, both times he's been on with us at Starcade on Arrowhead Allies, he said multiple times, he goes, I think Chris Jones should have won at least one of these Super Bowl MVPs. Now, I disagree. I think Patrick Mahomes deserves every one that he's gotten. But in that last 49ers one, you could very well say Chris Jones was the best player on that field.
For sure, man.
He was unreal. He had, 11 pressures? He had, 4 batted balls. He was unbelievable in that game. So, I mean, Chris Jones deserves the praise. So, if you want to put him as your X factor, boy, you know I'm signing up for it.
Yeah, and you know this guy's going to give everything he's got to this
Absolutely.
game. I mean, he saw how emotional he was just knowing he made it back to this game.
It means everything to him.
Let this man go out there and do his thing, man. Julia Gulia, offense is her X factors. Offense is Hunt, defense Chanel. I love it, man.
That's good. That's a good pick.
I love those. Yeah, I love Leo Chanel because Leo Chanel has yet to really make that postseason play. He's had a lot of big moments during the year, saved some big time moments already. Well, did he block that field goal though?
He did. So I guess
he
that
did
does
block
count.
that field
That
goal
does
against
count.
the Texans.
I think what you're saying is on a defensive
He
play.
doesn't have that signature play.
Yeah,
with a fumble
a
recovery.
strip sack or
Takes it to the house on a fumble recovery or something
Yep.
because he's that dude that could do something like that.
What better time?
I would love nothing because I have an autographed
Especially
jersey.
right before contract comes up because he's going to get Chiefs are probably have to pay Chanel. Is it Chanel or Chanel? Just for the record.
I say Chanel.
I say Chanel too because
I
that's
say
what it looks
Leo
like it
Chanel.
smells. But I hear people say Chanel.
It's AL, so I mean, I don't think it's.
I'm like,
AL.
is he a perfume?
Well, it's Chanel. It's ENAL. Chanel. I don't know.
Let's ask
That's what
Forrest.
I say. I'll have to text him later and see.
That's hit him
But
up.
if he does, I am rooting for that though,
Cena.
Julia, because I have an autographed jersey of that man, and that thing will be framed. And if he has a legacy play in a three-peat game, that man is going to go down forever as a legend. So I'll have an autographed jersey.
They'll be
of that
calling
man.
him 3-0 Chanel.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I love it. Those are good picks, Julia, there. Demetrio Spence. Offensive X Factor is D-Hop. I love that. Defensive X Factor is Leo. Okay, Leo's getting some love. Leo the
There we
Lion
go.
getting some love out here, man.
Giving a white guy some credit. That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
Because,
yeah.
we just don't get that much in the NFL these days.
Oh, man. So much I can say right now.
We get sinners and punters now.
I can get very offensive right now. James T. Kirk X Factor is George Karlaftis. I think that's outside of
Old Georgie?
I think George is just playing different, man. What we've been seeing out of, and he's been great in the postseason basically since he's been a Chief. And he doesn't know what losing feels like. But there's a little different look in that man's
How
eye.
fucking awesome would that be if he beats Lane Johnson on a sack Jalen Hurts?
There's a different look in that man's eye right now. The confidence he has in this third year of his career here.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
He's a little different. He's looking a little scary, bro.
Yeah.
Like he has that crazy look in his eye. I'm loving it. So I love that
He's
call
the guy that
from
wants to get
James.
paid. That's what he looks like.
Oh, for sure. But I just think Jordan's just like a kind of a psycho out there, bro.
Yep.
He's just like, he's different, bro. And I love it. I love that he's just,
It's
him.
It's scarier when you see nice guys like that.
That's what I'm saying.
Because he's like the sweetest human ever.
Yeah.
But he's like,
He's a
fuck
very
you on the
approachable.
field. Yeah.
He's a big dude, but he's very
Like,
approachable.
fuck you on the field.
Yeah, man.
Those are because that means that they have a switch.
Yeah, there's guys like him and there's guys like Jeff Houston who like never talk.
It feels more personal because you're like, George, I love you, man. Why are you acting like this? Calm down, bro. Like,
you
what
want
the
to
fuck?
eat my face.
Yeah, what happened, George?
I love it. But he's playing different right now, bro. And I think that's a great call. He could be a guy that can absolutely go wreck this game for sure. Clear the air with E. Chiefs 33, Eagles 21.
I like that. That's pretty close to mine.
That's a good call. I do think I don't have the Chiefs scoring over 30, but I think we obviously have the better. I don't think anybody scores over 30 in this game, in my opinion. But yeah, I like that score. That's a friendly score to my eyeballs. Demetrio Spence 28-13 Chiefs.
Ooh,
that's more of a realistic
like
score in my
that.
opinion. That's why I like 27-19.
Ooh, I like that. I think if the Eagles are held to 13, that means they probably have like 2 or 3 turnovers too.
I think that's a possibility.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I mean, I know they're not. They're 10-0 in the playoffs with the turnover takeaway differential. But
for sure. But I mean,
this
they were
could
really good at
change.
taking care of the ball 2 years ago, and they had 2 turnovers in that game.
Good point.
John Harrison, Chiefs 30-19. Similar to my score, just 3 points extra. Chiefs 30-19. That's a great score.
Love
I
it.
love
Low,
that
Johnny.
one. Speak it from our guy MQ10, Mac 10. As much as it would be cool for Kelsey to go off, if Mahomes wins Super Bowl MVP and Kelsey has like 2 catches for 10 yards the whole game, the narrative that Mahomes needs Kelsey will die. That's a great point. Kind of getting out ahead of the narratives here of what happens if that happens. I do think Kelsey has a better game than that. Because he had a dud last week and he wasn't really needed, and he had a dud both games against the Bills, and we kind of know we didn't necessarily need him to be great in that game to win that one. But I think Kelsey knows he's going to rise to the occasion against the Eagles here. I think Travis Kelsey should have a solid game. We're talking like 60, 70 receiving yards, 6, 7 catches, something like that. A couple big converted first downs. He's just known to make those plays in the Super Bowl. He never has really like bad games in the Super Bowl, to be honest.
Well, yeah, and I think if anything, this last season has shown that, and it sucks that we have to do this because you don't want to ever have to feel like you have to downplay what a guy could do with or without other players. But I think this season showed that Patrick Mahomes is going to be fine post Travis Kelce, whatever that day comes. I don't think it's going to happen this year. I think he plays at least another season. But Travis Kelce's not the same player he was 2-3 years ago. He's not the dominant tight end he once was that can grab 10 balls a game and turn the whole game around and have all these yak yards. That's just not his game anymore. He's 35 years old. We knew this was coming. So Patrick's had to adjust to it, and he's become a chameleon, like Nick Wright said on First Things First. Patrick's not even 30 years old. He's already learned how to become everything his team needs in whatever time they need it. That usually takes quarterbacks many, many, many years to do. Patrick's learned that within 6-7 years. So I think, no matter what's going to happen with that situation, whether Travis returns or not, I think that narrative already is dead, to be honest with you. It should be dead.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a silly fan-made villain type of narrative that anybody can try to discredit greatness.
100%.
That's what losers do. So let losers loser.
Yeah,
that's what I
exactly.
said. Just let them loser. Let them commiserate. James T. Kirk, who's more annoying, Craig Carton, Bill Burr, or other nutcases with conspiracy theories? Hey, Bill Burr's a stirring the pot.
Bill Burr's my dude, man. I love Bill Burr. He's a comedian, so I know what he's doing, his art, and why he does the way says and does the things he says.
Yeah, he discredited himself though when he said he doesn't even watch Chiefs games. I was like, how do you have an opinion, sir?
I didn't even take that opinion seriously.
Me neither, bro.
No, it's Craig without a question, and it's not because he looks like I said best choice Howie Mandel.
Intellectually dishonest.
It's because the guy's just an absolute moron that is that is paid to be a moron, where he goes up there and screams with his New York accent, and that somehow makes it sound more entertaining somehow. He's an idiot. That's why they had to bring Danny Parkins on the show, because they knew that if they kept the show the way it is, just with just absolute dishonesty throughout, with him and Mark Schlereth just gnawing on each other, just two Neanderthals. They had to bring someone with actual brain cells into the equation. That show was going to die very quickly. That's why they had to change the name of it. That's why they had to change the host of it, because they needed some actual a reputable source on that show, and that's Danny Parkins. With all respect,
his name is Craig Carton for a reason. I mean, Carton, his takes are always end up on a carton of milk.
Woo!
Right? So,
missing.
Yeah. No, we don't need to talk about that man no more or whatever he is. Baca87. Baca, salsa Baca. When we win tomorrow, is the Tyreek trade considered the greatest in NFL history? That's a interesting take. Interesting question, I should say.
I think still
because what we've done, if we win 3 in a row after trading maybe the best receiver in football at that time,
I will say that it's at least up there with the what's it called trade when the Cowboys Jimmy Johnson made that trade with 10
the 2022 class.
What was it? 10 picks though with God dang it, the running back. He works. He does political stuff now.
Oh my goodness!
I'm an idiot. I can't believe I'm not.
Oh my god, he's still jacked out of his mind.
What the? Somebody in the chat tell me who this running back was that the Cowboys traded for like 10 picks in the 80s. They ended up getting like Michael Irvin out of it, Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman.
Oh my goodness, bro.
Who was it? I keep wanting to say Walter Payton. It's not Walter Payton.
No, God.
Herschel Walker. Thank you,
bro. Herschel.
Thank you, Hallway Vice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Herschel. Now everyone's saying it. Thank you, Galani. Thank you, Baca. Thank you, Julia.
The madman himself, Herschel
Yes.
Walker.
That nutbag got them like 10 picks.
Herschel Walker.
So it's up there with that for sure. Because that changed the Cowboys. They had a dynasty because of that trade. So I would agree. The Chiefs dynasty, but
if we solidify 3 Super Bowls in a row after trading and getting those pieces that have not those pieces that we got from the Tyreek Hill trade have not known what it's like not to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah. And that
3 in a row.
That 2022 class is maybe the best class in Chiefs history.
Brett Veach is forever a legend for that class.
That might be, they had like 7 starters out of that draft class.
It's insane. And all those guys are going to get paid.
Yeah, I think nuts. Kyle, everybody's saying Herschel Walker now. I cannot believe I blanked on that.
Yeah,
I'm ashamed. Yeah. Hold this out, Lance.
Yeah. Herschel. Lonnie Pyramid. I think he could be the hungriest of the team at this. I'm trying to pick your question, Lonnie. Maybe you could help me out here. I think he could be the hungriest on the team at this point. I think he might have been talking about. I just saved this because there's the question marks in there. I think he might have been talking about.
I'm the hungriest here right now.
Yeah. I think he might have been talking about maybe D-Hop when I was talking about D-Hop.
Oh well, yeah.
I'm not sure.
Him and Kareem Hunt, like Kyle was saying earlier in the chat. Kyle Henning was saying earlier in the chat that he thinks that the 2 guys, for sure.
I do. I think narratives really matter in this game, bro. Yeah. I think the Kareem thing, and I think I like Amenahu in this game, so I think he didn't get to play last year. You know, that was a big thing. He really wanted to play, and we saw the clips of him. I get to play in the Super Bowl.
Right.
That's a real thing, bro, and that motivates guys. That gives them an extra gear that they didn't know they had. And a guy who already has a lot of gears in Amenahu.
Yeah, your teammates want to win that for you as well because Michael Irvin shared a story on the Herd yesterday that was awesome. He said, after we'd already won 2 rings, Jimmy Johnson in the locker room said, hey, anybody in here that has not won a championship yet, raise your hand or stand up. And so what it did is it put it in perspective all the veterans. Like,
coaching,
we're winning. We're playing for these guys. Yeah. Let's get them a ring. You know, like that's what I think that's what they're doing, man. They know they got D-Hop on this team. They know they got Kareem Hunt back.
Yeah.
That redemption tour is here. Amenahu, a guy they brought in to be a difference maker who has been a difference maker. Those are the guys you want to win this ring for sure. And also, like I said, dude, they win this.
Lonnie said he was speaking about Kareem.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, we figured that.
Yeah.
You win this Super Bowl, dude, you're the greatest dynasty of all time.
Yes.
So they're playing for everything. For your teammates that haven't won yet, and to be the greatest ever.
And I think it's going to be... Listen, I said this last time we played the Eagles. I said this is the greatest Super Bowl story of all time with the Kelsey Bowl, which I still hold to that to this point until now. Because if we win 3 in a row, and the storyline with Kareem Hunt and the storyline with D-Hop never getting a ring, and this is his opportunity. Wanted to go to the Chiefs a couple years ago, but didn't. He ended up choosing a different path, and now here he is again. Happens to be on the Chiefs, and now he's in the Super Bowl. Kareem Hunt coming back after the disciplinary action and him suffering in Cleveland for several seasons, coming off of a sports hernia surgery, now has a chance to be a starting running back. Help this team reach the biggest feat of this dynasty so far that he should have been a part of this whole time, but now he has a chance to solidify the spearhead of it all. It's just so many crazy thing, and then obviously on top of it, the Chiefs doing an actual three-peat and being the best team in sports history, of having a chance to do something that's never been done before.
I'm just so glad this is all rigged.
It's there's so many crazy storylines, man. This is going to be the greatest 30 for 30 of all time. Like it's not even going to be a question. So it's just untapped things, man, that we're dealing with here. But like I said, all the storylines that go into this is just such a cool cool thing. And on top of the Tyreek Hill trade too, that thing, that storyline, which is a great question from the chat here.
That is a great question.
All those pieces that we got have been nothing but contributors since then, and we're looking at 3 in a row. It's incredible. It's incredible. King Mo, do y'all think Pacheco will do better next season because he did well? Pat put up MVP numbers.
He's got no choice. And I feel bad for Pacheco because he can't stay healthy, so it's not like it's a lack of effort. We all know that dude is all heart.
Yeah.
We know he loves this game. He loves his teammates, and his teammates love him back. But he better, because I don't think that Pacheco's back after 2025 with the Chiefs. I don't think they're going to pay him. But I think he has a future in this league elsewhere. But if he gets hurt again, he underwhelms again, it's not out of the possibility that he doesn't find a job because he's a 7th-round pick. Yes, he's had success, but we know how fast this league will move off a player, especially at that position.
No doubt.
So I am pulling for Pacheco. I want him to have I thought he was going to have a ball. Remember before the season started, I said this was going to be Pacheco's best season. And he was having, dude, that first game and a half, dude was balling. He looked like he was about to take off this year. Got hurt. So that's kind of I hate to say it, but that's kind of the MO of Pacheco's career. He's a burn, and he kind of burns out. That's just the life of running backs that play violently like that, especially when you're not a big running back.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the pressure is gonna really be mounting on him next year because I do expect Kareem Hunt will be back next season, and I think the Chiefs are gonna either go and draft a running back in the mid rounds or go sign somebody.
Devin Neal. Yep.
Yeah, boy, please let me tell you, yes, dude, Devin Neal in this offense would be great.
Insane, dude.
I think there's gonna be some real competition for Isaiah Pacheco, and he's going to have a lot of pressure on him. I do expect the Chiefs to give him a real chance to win that job back. Sure. Steal a grown man's job. It might be his own.
Yeah. I mean, the story for him and Malone just making the league and his humble beginnings and everything, where he comes from, Jersey and rough upbringing. I love Pop, man.
Absolutely.
I love the kid. So we'll see. Hope the best for him. This is the last one as far as right now. John Harrison, this isn't a question or anything, but I just wanted to give him his moment here. The hold this L this week is the goofball in charge of graphics at the NFL Honors Show. Patrick Surtain wins Defensive Player of the Year, but Myles Garrett's name was on the screen. LOL.
Ooh, well in that case,
I didn't watch that shit. So
hey, Jackass, do us a favor and
hold this L.
Yeah. That's for John Harrison right there, bro.
And no offense, Patrick Surtain winning Defensive Player of the Year over Myles Garrett's kind of wild to me, but I think it should have been Myles Garrett. So they had the right name up there, in my personal opinion. No shade to Patrick Surtain.
Maybe that was the guy trolling.
No shade. I mean, I think it's because the Broncos made the playoffs. Maybe that's that's what swayed them. Because Myles Garrett had 18 sacks this year, or something like that.
I think if I'm Myles Garrett, I go to the Commanders.
I'm on the Chiefs, buddy.
Well, yeah, I would love that. Obviously, I don't think the Browns are trading him in the AFC. I think he's going to go to the NFC.
He ain't going to be a Chief.
I think they trade him to the Commanders or
go get Myles Garrett. We'll go get T. Higgins. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Let's go and do that. Like Matt.
We'll go get Derrick Henry. Give him over to a real team that knows how to win. You know what I mean? That'd be Come on, Derrick. That is it for the people, bro.
Awesome stuff, guys. You guys brought it today like you always do. Great takes, great questions. Great questions. I got a speech. I got a stutter. I have a speech impediment. No, this is awesome. You guys are great. Thank you guys so much for making the show fun, like you do every single week. We thrive off of it. It's the juice to the show, man. Yeah. So without further ado, we have one more order of business to get to. Trevor, what is it called? Hold this L. Each every episode, we finish off every single episode with a series of L's in the world of sports. Whether those L's are friendly L's or not so friendly L's in the world of sports, we promise you, who is ever holding those L's in the world of sports deserve those L's in the world of sports. Trevor Twidwell, who's holding the L for you this week?
All right, so I'm gonna have a somber moment real quick. I just want to discuss one thing real quick before I get into my L. So I'm sure some of you heard the news. There was a local Deportes, or a guy working for the ESPN Deportes covering the Chiefs and covering the Super Bowl out in New Orleans. Aiden Manzano, 27 years old.
Yep.
Died while on assignment covering his third Super Bowl for Telemundo, Kansas City, or not Deportes, I'm sorry, Telemundo, Kansas City, and Tico Sports. Manzano's death comes less than a year after the death of his wife, Ashley Boyd, who was a teacher for the Topeka Public Schools District. He leaves behind a daughter, by the way, and my heart goes out to, 'cause I'm a girl dad myself, so my heart just goes out to him and his family and his daughter. This is just, tragic. Just a year separate from his wife dying. It's just tragic. A Kansas City reporter, a sports reporter covering Super Bowl in New Orleans for Spanish-speaking media died Wednesday, according to his employers, KGKC, Telemundo, Kansas City, and Tico Sports. 𝚿𝙾 Manzano, 27, was on assignment covering his third Super Bowl for the Telemundo and Tico Sports, a multimedia production company that broadcasts Chiefs games in Spanish. When he was found dead, Manzano's death comes less than a year after his death of his wife, as we stated before. Manzano's cause of death is not yet publicly known, and both media companies said they are cooperating with law enforcement. There was reports coming out that he was seen with a woman in his hotel room, and she left without him, which caused a stir, which caused, and then he ended up being found in his room, dead, with several things missing from his belongings, including his credit cards and things like that. And the idiot woman that apparently did this crime went and immediately was spending money on his credit card.
Supposedly she has a history of poisoning people.
And stealing
like
their
terrible shit, man.
So that's just a tragic. I just wanted to give him his moment here, and especially the moment for his daughter, who is now parentless.
Oh man.
So I mean, that's just that is an absolute nightmare situation, man. I feel so bad for his daughter and the remaining family who's there to take care of her, and I just hope the best for her future and that she can find ways to be consoled and taken care of and move forward and raised to be a good young woman. So that's tough. I just wanted to give him his moment there, and recognize his existence and what he did for the city and covering this team in a special moment, and he didn't get to see it, and that's very unfortunate.
Yeah, very sad. Very sad.
So I hated that story, but I wanted to at least bring it up and give it its moment. But my L is going to go to Terrell Owens. I don't know if you guys saw it. I had the clip here ready to go, but I can't find it for some reason. I don't know why. I'll get to it here in a second, but I think we've all been a little exhausted by the ref narrative and hearing it from, you're at like the Craig Cartons and the other talking heads on the Super Bowl being rigged, or not the Super Bowl being rigged, but just games in general being rigged via the refs for the Chiefs. But Terrell Owens comes out and talks about how it's blatant favoritism. And this one hits home for me because I grew up, I love Terrell Owens. I love I love guys like him, Des Bryant, obviously not nearly as good as Terrell Owens, but guys like that would back that shit up when they talked it. I loved guys like that. I loved the Brett Favres. I loved the mouthy guys because I was kind of a mouthy kid when I played basketball and stuff like that. I liked getting heated, and that was a part of who I was as an athlete too. So I was kind of liked those guys. I was not the most humble, neither of these guys, and I like them because they talked their shit and they always backed it up. But as far as, what he says is, he goes, there are many things that fans can worry about over a 17-game season, such as coaching decisions, player injuries, and the weather, and yes, even close calls and incredible plays by incredible athletes. But you can rest assured that on every single down, NFL officials, both on the field and in replay booth, are doing everything humanly possible to. I'm sorry, that wasn't his quote, but that was the referees coming out in opposition to him, to what he was saying about the Chiefs and the referees. I'm not going to go too much diving deep into it, but this is the last one I'm going to talk about this season as far as the referees, because there's L's abound to go around. But when it's an ex-player like this, a player because I talked about Andre Reed last time, who's a player I respect. This is a Hall of Fame player here, and this consistently gets shot down by people that actually respect the game and actually care about false narratives, not just consistently getting spread around, and have some kind of objective take on the game itself, not just an emotional thing. So for Terrell Owens to come out and say this, man, it just really kind of hurt my heart. I was like, damn, I like guys like him. I like Ocho Cinco. I like guys like that always kind of they stuck to their takes, but this is not even a take. This is just propaganda that continues to get spread from guys that played the game and have some kind of emotional bias towards a great team, something that they may have never experienced and had that. And they're great players, but they never had this kind of greatness in their career. And I think maybe it's some bitterness, maybe it's some jealousy. I don't know what it is exactly that gets these guys coming out the woodwork, just to shit on a great team for whatever reason. But I'm getting sick and tired of it. And Terrell Owens was kind of like I said, the spearhead of all this. And this is like my final straw and the last one I will talk about when it comes to this shit. But so for that, Terrell Owens, Mr. T.O. himself, do me a solid favor and hold this L.
If I told you, if I just said these numbers out real quick, I want you guys to tell me what's the comes to mind, sure, when I list out these rankings, okay? 16th in completions, 27th in completion percentage, which is behind Mac Jones and Russell Wilson, 14th in passing yards, 8th in passing touchdowns, 8th in yards per attempt, 8th in passer rating, 0 fourth quarter comebacks, 2 game-winning drives, which is fewer than Anthony Richardson, Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, and Bryce Young. What comes to mind when I say those numbers?
What comes to mind?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Mediocrity?
I mean, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that won MVP this year.
Oh, shit.
That won MVP this year.
Here we go.
Josh Allen had those numbers this year.
Yikes.
And, people come to me because I'm somebody that proudly, and will die on this, will say that Patrick Mahomes was the most valuable player this year because he led the league in game-winning drives and fourth quarter comebacks and was top 10 in about 5 different stats despite missing almost every single piece he had coming into this season for at least 12 to 14 weeks, if not all season. Still led his team to a 15-win season and the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But, what do I know? Josh Allen didn't miss all his pieces this year. He had everybody healthy this year for the most part. And maybe the best offensive line in the AFC. And he put up these types of numbers. And Josh Allen, great quarterback. I think he's probably the second best quarterback in the NFL. But this was maybe his third or fourth best season.
Right.
And the guy that has a problem with him winning the MVP, is the one that's taking the brunt of the punishment here, Trevor. But see, I think it's not me that needs to be giving the burden of proof of why he shouldn't win it. It should be the ones that are giving it to him to give me the burden of proof of why he won it. Because it's the same fucking question I keep asking, Trevor. What is the MVP?
Right.
Because last year,
It's not best player.
Lamar Jackson had shitty numbers like this, but his team had the 1 seed.
It's the 1 seed.
So they gave it to him.
Yep.
Josh Allen led the league in literally 0 stats, and they didn't win the 1 seed. Why the fuck did he win MVP?
And that's in the same season where Lamar Jackson was the first player in NFL history to have 4,000 passing yards and 800 rushing yards.
Yeah.
First in NFL history.
While
Josh Allen
Saquon Barkley rushed for over 2,000 yards. While Patrick Mahomes went 7-0 and teams didn't have a turnover.
If the NFL's in bed with anybody, it's fucking Josh Allen.
Oh, and by the way, Trey Wingo exposed this number, Trevor. You know what team had the most game scoring drives based on penalties extending the drives?
The Bills.
The Bills.
Yeah.
33%.
Yep.
What the fuck are we doing?
Listen, and I like Josh.
Yes.
I like Josh.
Yes.
I like pretty much
I mean, he doing him.
pretty much everything about him. If he's my quarterback, I would love Josh Allen. He would be that's a god amongst men. The dude is incredible.
He wasn't the MVP.
But he was not the MVP.
He was not the MVP.
this year, bro.
Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Was he an MVP candidate? Yes.
This feels
So was Jared Goff.
it feels forced to you, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it feels
It's a
forced.
pity award.
Yeah.
This award now is a joke.
Whoever loses to Patrick Mahomes gets the MVP.
You get the MVP now.
Yeah. Because we can't let Pat beat you and get an MVP.
Yeah.
We can't do that. So, yeah.
Jesus Christ,
Let's not even
dude.
put Pat on the list.
And everybody
He
can
can't even
say,
be top
and
five.
look, and this might be right to an extent. People are like, oh, this is the Lamar Jackson fatigue.
Yeah.
No, it is the Patrick Mahomes fatigue.
Yeah.
Because again, Patrick Mahomes was doing things that even Josh Allen wasn't doing this year. Patrick Mahomes had more game-winning drives and fourth quarter drives and game-winning drives, fourth quarter comebacks, and game-winning drives than Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen combined. What are we doing?
But Pat wasn't even on the list.
What are you on the list?
Nuts.
He had fewer first-place votes, Trevor, than Jared Goff.
Fuck Jared.
Like,
Fucking
Jesus
Jared Goff.
Christ.
That's so funny,
If
dude.
you're going to give it to anybody this year, give it to Saquon Barkley. Give it to Lamar Jackson. I can live with those. I would, if I saw those two guys win the MVP, I'd be like, you know what? I still think it's Pat, but I can live with that.
Yeah.
Josh Allen, when he didn't lead in a single stat and they didn't win the 1
This
seed?
just feels like a make-believe. This is like a magical world where people can live in and kind of like pick and choose who they want to be and who they want to have these awards. But in the reality, everyone knows who the most valuable player in this league is. Everyone knows. Everyone knows. There is no other player more valuable than Patrick Mahomes in this league. In reality, this is just, it's make-believe, it's fun, they're playing house.
Yes.
That's what these awards are.
This
No offense to the guys that won them, no offense to Josh Allen. You got your award, buddy. You had your moment. You cried when you saw your video of those kids, and that was a cool moment to see. I like Josh Allen a lot.
Yes.
I like it.
He's like a great dude.
Yeah, but this is make-believe. This is who cares?
Trevor, you know what this is called?
Who cares?
He was due award.
Yeah,
He was due.
he was due for something, so we had to give him something. So they gave him a
Gotta give him something.
participation trophy for losing to Patrick Mahomes, my guy.
Jesus Christ.
That's all this shit is.
For
bro.
me, if somebody did tell me that he was more valuable this year than Saquon Barkley is just
or even Lamar.
absurd.
Give Lamar his third.
I mean, God,
Give Lamar his
yes.
third, dude. Yeah, I mean, I would much rather have been.
That would have made sense because, like you said, he was breaking records.
He made history this year, bro. He was insane this year.
If Josh would have, if Josh would have like 50 touchdowns this year, okay.
Yeah.
He like led the league in passing yards, led in completions.
His numbers were even better than Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow overshadowed his numbers by far.
What are we doing, man?
I don't know.
I'm triggered, but you know what? Josh Allen, you get another award today, and it's from the Spoken Podcast, and it is to Hold It Down.
He's got 2 of them in his name.
Yeah, he can't spell. Yeah, he can't spell Allen without L.
Hey, MVP though. Hey,
MVP.
He's got it. It's on his. He's got it.
Almost beat Patrick Mahomes. Here's an MVP.
Put it on the nightstand.
You guys ready?
Congrats, buddy.
Are you guys ready? Because the next time we talk on this show, we're going to be talking about this team being the greatest dynasty in the history of the NFL.
Oh, baby.
I hope you guys are ready for this. I'm putting it on there right now. I'm guaranteeing a Chiefs victory. The Chiefs are going to win this game. May not go the way Trevor and I are saying it. May go completely different.
May go better.
But you know what's going to the thing that will happen, and I'm telling you it will happen, is the Chiefs are holding the Lombardi for a 3rd consecutive year.
And Tom Brady gonna hand it to us.
And Tom Brady is going to hand it to Patrick Mahomes. Think about what that means. That is going to be maybe the most important moment in the history of the NFL. When you see the GOAT handing the baton to the GOAT, it is going to be a literal transference of power.
Like, bah.
It is, yes. It is literally handing the GOAT to the GOAT, dude. It is, you are now him. It is, that's what I believe that's going to be. Patrick is the best we've ever seen.
I want Tom to get on one knee and bow and give it to Pat.
You would agree, and I think a lot of you guys on the chat would agree.
Yeah.
Pat is the best we've ever seen. But when he does this, he becomes the greatest we've ever seen.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to get to 7 to be better than Tom Brady.
No.
Just like Michael Jordan didn't have to get to 11
right.
to be better than Bill Russell. So we are looking at the man that has a chance to do something Tom Brady and no one else has ever done before, and that motherfucker is going to do it. He's too close to what he has set out for. And since day one, this is what Patrick Mahomes does.
Over my goddamn dead body.
The greatest stat, I was waiting to finish the show with this. I don't know if you guys have already seen this or heard this or not, but it's a true stat. I looked it up. Patrick Mahomes has now been in Super Bowls in 71% of his career seasons. He completes passes of 66%. That means he has a higher percentage of going to Super Bowls than he completing a pass. He is the greatest to ever do this, boys and girls. And he's going to continue because the man isn't even 30. One day this will end. We are far from it. And this is another stepping stone of the greatest dynasty that we have ever seen in the history of American sports.
Enjoy it.
Sports, however you say it. Whatever part of the joy you enjoy,
enjoy your sports.
Wherever you're from. Chiefs are coming for that ass.
Hey, enjoy this shit, people.
Yes.
Whoever you're watching this game with, sit and hug them, cry together, whatever you got to do. Enjoy this moment, bro. This is something we've never experienced, never thought we would experience, probably will never experience again. Maybe another team will never even experience this kind of greatness. So what we're seeing right now is something that is it's unprecedented, something that we never ever thought we would see, and it's still hard to fathom, but it's here, and it's happening, and please just smell these roses, man. Yep. Just stop and enjoy this moment.
So eat your food, watch the game. After the game, get your stogies, get your boner pills, get everything ready, guys. We are going to hit my line after the game. If you're in Kansas City,
it's going to be like a scene out of Eyes Wide Shut out here.
Yeah, I'm going to be wearing the mask and nothing else. A mask and a smile is all I'll be wearing. And it might be cold that night, so bear with me. So the point is, Kansas City, everybody that's a part of this whole thing, we appreciate you guys for being a part of what we do here, but I hope you guys are ready for the greatest party this city has ever known, and it is going to be celebrating the 3-peats that Pat Riley has now licensed to the NFL to utilize without getting sued, so we can say that openly. The 3-peat is coming, ladies and gentlemen. So for the great Trevor Twidwell, for the great Clay Windler who puts all this together on the back end of things at Red Stripe Cinema, check out some of his latest work, guys. It's been absolutely amazing. The man never misses a beat. And the entire Starcade Media family does some incredible work of keeping you guys all in tune with everything that's going on. Be on the postgame show as well with Shaggy Shane and Harvey Williams. They do incredible work over there as well. I'm Lance Swidwell. Episode 303 of the Spoken Podcast is done, finished, and finito. And until we are back here in 1 week's time for episode 304 to bask and then celebrate what we have just now given you guys all the reasons to celebrate for. We out of this bitch.
I want 3, dog.